Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here, I'd say he's a co-host, fellow co-host of the show, an integral member of our show, the Comment King, the Magnificent Son X.
Next time, baby.
It's X time, he says. Oh, gosh. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, this is a twice a week all sports podcast that takes place every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the show and you like the content, make sure to do a few things for me. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future videos, and hit the thumbs up button, because apparently if you hit the thumbs up button, that, number one, it lets us know you like the content, and also it gets this fun time of talking sports out to the masses. Apparently it helps the algorithm. So make sure to do those two things if you like the content. For today's show, there's a lot we're going to be talking about here, right? You got the college football playoffs. We had the semifinal round. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be going ahead and covering what's going to happen in the college football finals, what our predictions are, early predictions between the two teams, between Washington and Michigan. We're going to talk about the NFL. There's quite a bit happening in the NFL this upcoming week. A lot of big games have a lot of chances there to make an impact on what the playoff seedings is and who makes it in and who doesn't. So we're going to be talking about that. And I know Grumpy wants to talk about his favorite coach, Grumpy's favorite coach and his favorite team, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So we'll let him talk about that. And also, we're going to talk about Kylian Mbappe. It looks like he may be a done deal to Liverpool. Holy shit. Yes, could be. We're going to talk about it. That and so much more here today. But I think there's no better way to start the show than talking about the college football playoffs this weekend. The first game, the 5 o'clock game, Eastern Standard Time, was started off with an overtime thriller of Alabama against Michigan. With Michigan pulling it out late in the game in overtime on a stop on fourth down against Bama. What were your thoughts on the games, guys?
X? Yeah, it was a hell of a game. Went down to overtime. Michigan honestly was shooting themselves in the foot play after play after play. You have the muff punt return on, what was it, the second drive of the game? First yeah. Muffs the punt, turns it over to Alabama at like the 40. They're 40. Alabama ends up getting 7 off that. Then later on in the game, they muffed another punt. They had the the placeholder mishandled a extra point, and then you have a missed field goal from like 45 yards out. Terrible display.
I think they missed 2 kicks. They missed 2 field goals, and they muffed an extra point.
Oh, they only missed 1.
I thought
they have the worst special teams I've ever seen for a high-level school. I mean, that was Alabama has no offense really. Certainly no passing offense. I didn't understand what Alabama was doing, what Michigan was doing. Every time they put pressure on, what's his name, Milroe?
Yeah, Milroe.
Every time they put pressure on him, they sacked him. He's an athlete. He likes to run the ball. He's not a quarterback. Not yet anyway. And whenever they pressured him, they sacked him every single time. When they started laying off, he'll just run up the middle. They were lucky to win. They were lucky to win, and not because they didn't deserve to win, because coaching, and again, that common refrain, coaching almost cost them the game. Players win games, coaches lose them. We're going to talk about Texas, Washington in a minute. But again, the same stupid things that I say all the time, they're always true. I thought Michigan was the better team. I was stunned that that's the play call on fourth down and goal for Alabama. Stunned. Quarterback draw. Okay. Well, that's why you're not playing in the championship.
At first, quick glance, I was like, what a bad play call. I watched it afterward. The quarterback didn't fucking follow the pulling guard. Quarterback fucked it up. Now, here's the thing. You know, I've been very vocal Milroe blows. He's a shitty quarterback. He's an athlete back there parading around as a QB. If you're relying upon him to throw you down the field to win a game, it's never happening. Never, not in a million years. It didn't happen. Now,
unless you're Auburn.
The first half, yeah, unless you're Auburn is right. And then the first half, Michigan dominated. And I mean thoroughly dominated Alabama. They manhandled Alabama. That's all I'm going to say. Just like I said last week, the first half, they absolutely manhandled Alabama. And how Alabama conceded 5 sacks in the first half. They had you can count the yards almost on one hand. If it wasn't for that muffed punt, they would have had 3 points on the board at the end of the first half, Grump.
But what happens when you dominate a game and you're only up by 3 or you're tied at half? Tend to lose those games.
Yep.
You tend to lose those games.
Yeah.
Nick Saban does a good job, making adjustments at halftime. I don't think that Jim Harbaugh does. And I was a little bit to me, I thought their offense is almost like a high school offense, Michigan's. I don't see any way they beat Washington. No way. Washington just too good.
I'm not done talking about the game. Don't try to bring us on to Washington yet, Grump. Here's the thing. First half, they dominated Alabama. The only reason that game was anywhere close is because of missed executions, missed plays. That kid 82 for Michigan absolutely sucks. I don't watch any Michigan games, not a lot of Michigan games. That kid was dropping balls through his hands on routes he was running that were almost hitting him in the helmet. He's fumbling and muffing punts. The kid should not be out there in that moment. And guess what? I'm going to go one further. When they're playing on Monday, he shouldn't be out there on the field either. That's simple. He just shouldn't be.
He will be. He'll start for them.
I know he will. He just shouldn't be out there. You can't have guys who are mental midgets and they go ahead and they mix execute on big plays and big opportunities. Can't do that. Can't be fumbling the ball away. Can't be rolling a long snap back there to your holder and your place kicker. You can't be missing.
It hit him right in the freaking hands. He dropped it. The moment was too big for a lot of the Michigan kids. Just was.
The kick,
was the
extra point, Grumpy. They rolled the snap. That's what I'm
talking about.
It
hit him right in the freaking hands. It didn't roll to him. You're mistaken.
Okay, do I need to pull that up and prove you wrong?
Pull it up and prove me wrong.
The freshman was the kid who muffed the first punt also. He was a freshman.
Yep. Then he dropped one right to his hands. Number 8.
To me, pack your damn bags. You ain't playing here. He was more busy worried about bedazzling his freaking mouth guard as opposed to catching the damn ball.
Ooh.
Get out of here.
Did he have a bedazzled mouth guard?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he had a little thing on it like a pacifier.
Oh. He's a baby.
He's a freaking scrub.
So they found every way possible to try to lose, and they somehow managed to win because I think they were the far better team. I don't think anything of Alabama at this point. Now, here's the thing. I will say this. I've always said that I thought Nick Saban this year, this guy's lost his fastball. He's done. You know what? After watching last or Sunday night or Monday night's performance, he's not the same coach he was. He hasn't lost his fastball because winning any games with that kid at quarterback is almost a damn near miracle because Milroe absolutely blows. He
ran against a good defense that has good pass rush, and that kid got engulfed all game. He didn't know what the fuck to do.
Okay.
Can't sit back there and throw the ball. I
think this is I disagree with you on Nick Saban and his coaching job. This is probably the best coaching job he's ever done. They are totally lacking talent in the skill positions. Totally. Their offensive line was bad all year. All these years where you're sending, Devontae Smith and Jamison Williams and Mac Jones and Jalen Hurts and Jalen Waddle and Tua Tagovailoa. You're sending all these guys to the pros. Well, they couldn't reload anymore. And that's why the NIL thing really hurt Alabama. A lot of their guys left to go somewhere else, and they couldn't reload.
Why do you think Nick Saban was bitching so much about the NIL? That's
Absolutely.
the reason why. And it's fair playing field for all these other teams now, and he can't get the recruits that he used to.
Well, I think that it was hurt last year because he couldn't regroup. He couldn't get guys to come because he had certain guys, and they all left. I just think he did a tremendous coaching job. They got better throughout the year, which is what you're looking for from a coach, right? To make your team better, because they were terrible to start the season. But they got better as the year went on. I'm not saying they were one of the top 4 teams in the league. I think Georgia was. But that's, in college football, you cannot lose the last game of the season. It's the best way to get yourself. I mean, Georgia hadn't lost in like 2.5 years. They lose one game in the SEC championship, they're out of the Final Four. Yeah, I know with the confluence of events, but that's just the way it is in college football.
I've said that for a while. I didn't think they were deserving. They weren't. They were lucky the game went to overtime. I will tell you, Michigan, holy shit. I've never seen a team come out of halftime and look in so much disarray where they're like, what are we doing out here? We completely changed our defensive strategy. Offensively, we weren't moving the ball at all. We just looked tentative out there. I mean, it showed. They dominated the line of scrimmage in the first half. I mean, absolutely. Offensively and defensively. They're just imposing their will on Alabama. Absolutely imposing their will. Second half, Bama made great adjustments.
They didn't make any adjustments. They played a bunch formation, which made it easy for Alabama.
Great. We're going to run a heavy set. Fantastic. We're on 5 or 6 down linemen. And they're like, let's see if we can that continue to work. Of course it's not.
Nick Saban's like, thanks a lot, Jim Harbaugh, or whoever offensive coordinator over there. Good, thanks a lot. We couldn't stop you. Thanks for helping us out. I didn't think it was a great game. I thought the end was exciting. Let's give a little bit of credit to the McCarthy kid coming back, with 2 late scores to send that game to overtime. And, good for Michigan. I mean, I'd like to see them win this week, but I don't think it'll happen.
Michigan is going to dominate.
I totally disagree.
They're going to dominate.
Okay. We'll find out Monday night. You'll be wrong again.
I won't be wrong.
I thought
maybe you can double down. Maybe you can keep doubling down on thinking Michigan's going to lose, and I'll just let you keep on knowing Michigan's not losing.
Michigan needs to figure a lot of shit out before Monday.
No, they don't. Michigan just needs to not make fucking stupid, boneheaded mistakes. Here's the one thing I noticed about Washington: cannot stop the run. Not to save their life. Texas was running the ball at almost 6-7 yards a carry, and Texas was like, we're not running the football anymore.
I will say Texas probably had the best run offense in the country.
Texas was, out of the top 4, they were the worst coach team. Number 1 was Texas. Number 2 was Michigan. I think number 3, and a close number 3, was Washington with the way that they tried to lose at the end of the game.
That was all.
Alabama was the best coach team out there.
Again, when I say coaches lose games, right? Let's talk Washington, Texas.
Sure.
Washington was better than Texas. They're not.
They're not.
Okay. They're not
either. Go back and look at it. 2 fumbles by the running back.
But they kept on putting Texas in 3rd and long. And I thought their defensive
hold on. Why was Texas in 3rd and long? Answer me that question first before I let you go on your point. Because Texas was continuing to get penalty after penalty after penalty. Holding call, full start. That's not Washington doing anything. That is just a mixed execution on Texas's part.
That's part of the game.
I'm saying it's not Washington imposing that. Washington wasn't like great sack against Quinn Ayers, and now we're at 3rd and 40 or 3rd and 20. That wasn't it was the fact that they kept shooting themselves in the foot.
It was the fact that kid Blue fumbled the ball twice. One started first drive of second half, and then one in the red zone.
You keep saying how great Quinn Ewers is.
He's great.
The Penix kid is about twice as good as he is.
No, there's a difference. The Penix
kid was spectacular in that game.
He was good. Really damn good.
I'm serious.
His wide receivers are a lot better.
Okay.
The wide receivers.
Every ball is like bam. The guys were on top of bam. Everything right on.
Well, then why doesn't Bryce Young convert all his throws?
Let me finish. Every ball he throws deep. Bam, right there. I don't know how anyone can watch that game and not say, holy crap, that kid's phenomenal. Now,
you want to know what I take away from that game? If you're asking me, I don't know how anybody else can. I'm going to tell you what I take away from that game. I took that away from that game. holy shit, Washington's offensive line manhandled Texas. Texas had zero, and I mean zero pressure on Penix. Penix was playing a 7-on-7 camp, and he was just saying, I'm sitting back here in the pocket. Hey, I'm not mistaken. Did Penix ever get sacked last or on Monday night? Answer is no.
He's really good moving in the pocket. He doesn't run a whole lot.
He didn't get pressure. The guy sat back there all fucking day with no pressure against him. That's why they were able to let these long developing routes establish, and he was just able to outthrow the defender in the corner, Grump.
Okay. I don't see how you can minimize his arm talent. I'm
not saying he doesn't have arm talent. He's got arm talent. I don't think he's a great QB.
So are you saying that he must be better than Bryce Young then, right? Because you know, it doesn't matter what wide receivers you have. You should just be able to throw the ball to everybody and then you convert it if you're good at QB.
Here's the thing. He's got a hose on him. I don't know how anyone does. And he's accurate as hell.
He's throwing to the top wide receivers.
Okay, but every ball is right here.
He was very accurate.
Every ball is right here.
There was one play that was for like 40 or 50 yards down the field where his wide receiver literally mossed the shit out of the defender. That's all the wide receiver. That's not him.
Okay. Watch the game again. Watch the game again.
I don't need to.
Here you go, Grumpy. Here's the thing. He's very accurate. He has a very strong arm. I absolutely agree with that. Here's the thing. He sat back there in the pocket and faced zero, and I mean zero pressure. Look at this. How many quarterbacks can you say, oh, yeah, hey, great. We're really bad when we have a clean pocket and no pressure in our face. Just look at this. Doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop. He doesn't, hey, he's so great at maneuver. Look at all the movement he does here in the pocket.
He's in shotgun. Oh, he's one play. You're talking about one play.
Trust me, Grumpy. I'll be more than happy to continue to show you.
What did he throw the ball? 45, 50 times? He threw for almost 500 yards.
Okay.
I mean, not to run after the catch, but his wide receivers are phenomenal. Okay. His wide receivers are phenomenal. This kid, now here's the thing. Is he going to be drafted one of the top 3 quarterbacks? He will not. He's 24 years old. He has an injury history, has had 2 ACL injuries and a couple of shoulder injuries. This is the first year he's ever completed the season. But this kid can throw the ball. I tell you what.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm just going to let you. Are you done yet? Because I want to bring up the actual points. Because I mean, you could keep on gushing all over this guy, wanting to slob on his knob, but like, I just want to be actually truthful here, Grump.
Okay.
Because I don't think you're doing that.
I just want to say one thing. You'll be singing a different tune next Thursday because Washington's absolutely going to steamroll over Michigan. I want Michigan to win. Their offense
manhandle Washington.
Don't lie, Grump. Part of the Husky fan club. Don't lie.
We'll see.
Don't lie. You got season tickets set up for next year. Stop.
He's part of the booster club. He's part of the booster club. Howard the Husky.
He just donated a building.
Here it is, Grumpy. The first time, let's look at the time where he gets a little pressure in his face. Gets a little pressure, throws off the back foot, underthrows the ball, and requires a fantastic catch by the wide receiver.
That ain't him. That's his wide out. Making a fantastic
wow, what a great throw. He led the guy. And he was
okay, here's the thing. Both of you thought Texas was going to win, so you're acting like a couple little bitches.
Well, here's the thing. Lost. There's a similar play at the end of the game.
A couple little bitch losers. Texas lost.
You don't let me talk.
Like bitches. You've been acting like
you don't let me talk.
Look at all this pressure in his face.
Look at that, man.
You've been acting like these are freaking highlights. Okay?
Are you going to let me talk?
What a throw.
There's a similar play at the end of the game where Quinn Ewers throws a 50-50 jump ball for his wide receiver, and guess what? His wide receiver is too shitty to come down with it.
He wasn't good enough.
That's not on him. Because guess what? If Penix threw the same ball, his guy would have got it.
Quinn Ewers isn't close to as good as Michael Penix. He's just not.
He's a better quarterback. He's a better quarterback. He translates better than Penix does.
Okay, we'll see.
Penix is thrown to the best wide receiver core in the country.
This kid, after Monday night, if he has another really big game, he's going to be a top 10, top 15 pick.
Let's see if any wideouts for Texas even get drafted this year.
I don't know. Maybe Xavier Worthy if he leaves. I don't know if he's leaving or not, but he's
already leaving.
He's shit.
Was that Grumpy?
I think he's leaving.
Okay. You mean the kid who was bitching and complaining all the time because he didn't get the ball enough?
There was a lot of those out there for Texas. He declared for the draft. Yeah, he'll be a selection. That's a guy who's a workout warrior. But here's the thing, Grumpy. I think I'm very impartial on this. I just said he's got a great arm.
Absolutely not. You're not.
Okay, are you not listening? Hey, you're acting like a Lamanite right now. I want you to remove the cotton from your ears. I'm saying this. He's got a very strong arm, and he was very accurate. Is that talking down about Penix? Is that demeaning Penix over there? No. I thought he had a very strong arm, and I thought he was very accurate. I think also he had a very clean pocket, and he had all the time in the world back there. I think he's got a really good receiving core. I think that Texas did not put any, and I mean any, pressure in Penix's face. That's simple. And you look at all those Oregon games, every single time where he looks like he's wilting like a little flower in 100-degree weather, it's because they're putting some pressure on his face. Texas could not get any pressure on Penix. That's simple. I don't think Michigan will have the same problem. Michigan was able to dial up pressure against that vaunted Alabama team. Guess what? Michigan's been dialing up pressure all year long. They're one of the best defenses in the nation. They're going to put pressure on this kid's face. That's the real test. How does this kid look with pressure on his face? He looked great in a 7-on-7 scenario. That's all I'm saying.
He didn't look great against Oregon. He didn't look great against Oregon.
Correct.
A team with a better defense. Texas defense is not great.
Whoop, this is a good job. Stepping up in the pocket. Fantastic. Steps up in the pocket.
Another phenomenal play by his wide receiver. Another phenomenal play by his wide out.
He's got all the time in the world back there. That was a hell of a throw. You talk about the arm strength. I just said he's got really great arm strength. He zips that right between two safeties who are miscommunicating, and he hits him between the zone.
Okay. 2 games against Oregon, 22 for 37, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. 27 for 39, 319 yards, a touchdown and interception. That's playing shitty, and they scored over.
He had 2 picks, 2 interceptions back-to-back in games against them.
He had 2 interceptions, 1 in each game. That's correct. 5 touchdowns. And they scored 36 and 39 points. So you're trying to 36 and 34 points. And they beat Oregon twice. Okay,
yeah, they did beat Oregon twice. And guess what? Oregon's not as good as fucking Michigan's defense.
They're
is.
undefeated.
Not even close.
They're
not
undefeated.
Even close to
Michigan. Okay, here's the problem with Michigan.
They're undefeated. Michigan's undefeated. Michigan's undefeated as well.
Michigan has a high school offense. That's why they're going to lose.
What do you mean by high school offense?
High school offense.
What do you mean by that? Explain to me what you mean by high school offense, because I know somebody said that on a show, but I'm going to let you know one thing. It's not a high school offense. Maybe he's talking about how J.J. McCarthy goes to the sidelines all the time to talk to the coach. Doesn't mean it's a high school offense.
It's a high school offense because they don't run any. There's no misdirection. There's no nothing. It's like handoff left, handoff right, pass over the middle. I mean, they're vanilla. They are as vanilla as they come offensively.
They have the biggest bruisers as an offensive line in the entire nation, and you're going to see them jam it down Washington's throat. There's a reason why Texas was running the ball at 7 yards a clip against that miserable defense. And guess what? Hopefully, Texas and Harbaugh don't try to outsmart themselves. Line up on the line of scrimmage, pound the living piss out of the ball, and you're going to see, wow, Michigan wins 40-42. You want to talk about predictions? I'm thinking Michigan's going to put up over 35 points against that Washington D, and Washington maybe scores 21.
Let's see if Michigan can stop them. They couldn't stop Alabama. Alabama has no offense.
What do you mean they couldn't stop Alabama?
They couldn't stop. They
gave them 1 touchdown. Alabama.
Just like I said, get ready for it. So you're both saying Michigan's going to win. I say Washington's going to win.
That's correct.
That's all.
I think it's going to be a good game. I have no idea who's going to win. Depends on who Vegas decides wants to win.
Ah!
Well, then it'll be Washington. But I just want to say how coaches can lose games. You know, that game, that Washington-Texas game was close at the end. That was all because of the coach. And I think Washington's coach is really good. But they had the ball, if people remember. Washington had the ball. I think they had a 6-point lead with like 2.5 minutes to go. And they're in field goal range. They had a third, and Texas had 2 timeouts left.
Yeah.
3rd down and 9, whatever it was. And they roll out, and I mean, it was a pass play, and Penix throws it away. You know, he gets we don't want to take any chances, throw the ball away. Saves Alabama timeout. And if you remember what I said at the time, I said, how dumb is that? The enemy of Texas is time.
It's
That's
almost
what it
like
was.
if your quarterback was smart enough, he just would have taken a knee right there to keep the clock running. If he was a smart QB,
Okay.
instead of just rifling.
He didn't want
it
his
would have been
stats to
easy.
go down. He didn't want his stats to go down. That's
That's
what it
true. He
was.
didn't want his rushing
Okay,
yards.
okay.
to go down.
No,
I don't want my rushing
Here's what it
yards
is.
to drop.
Here's what
Just
it
throw
is.
it
What
out
it
now.
is. They
Lose the
just
game.
should have kneeled. That should have been the play call. If the play call is a pass and the quarterback passes the ball and throws an incompletion, that's what it is. Okay. The play call, the coach, the offensive coordinator should have said, you know what? Run the ball to the middle of the field, whatever. They were like at the 10-yard line, 12-yard line. They were that close that it didn't matter. It was so dumb. Then what happens? Texas winds up scoring. Washington gets the ball back, and a Washington guy gets hurt, which stops the clock
Yes.
and gives, because they're out of timeouts, and it gives Texas the ball back. That was dumb. Both plays were dumb by Washington's coach, both of them, and almost cost them the game. Thank goodness Quinn Ewers could not complete a pass when it really counted. Couldn't get the job done.
How many yards did Quinn Ewers have?
300.
Not as many as Michael Penix.
310.
Oh, no, we just heard 300-yard games or something to be vaunted about, Grumpy.
Not as many as Michael Penix.
Hey,
That's
guess
how-
what?
10
He threw
yards.
for more touchdowns. He threw for more touchdowns than Penix did that last game against Oregon. Oh, uh-oh. Don't let Grumpy know. Here's the thing. If your quarterback had a brain, you just go ahead and say, hey, man, we want to try to pick up the first down. If you see a little bit of pressure, fall down. We're at the 10-yard line. You could take a sack, keep the fucking clock running. It's like a smart running back. When he gets a little bit of first down, what does a smart running back, Grumpy, what does a smart running back do? Does he run out of bounds or does he fall down in bounds? Penix, wake up and use your brain.
Okay.
You're the quarterback. You got to be the smartest guy on the field.
Okay.
That's
Just to let you know, just to let everyone on the show know, this is how these two little squawky bitches were acting all Sunday, all Monday. Squawky bitches. The two of them. One of them was on the phone with me all the time. The other one was sitting right over here next to me, just squawking and complaining every single play. I'm just stop. Washington's a better team. I told you all year Washington was really good. All year. I told you Washington's good. Why don't you tell us again how Oregon is better than Washington?
Oregon is a better
Oregon's
team than
better.
Washington.
They lost them twice. Twice they lost them.
I think
Not
Oregon
once.
is worse than Washington only because they have that piece of shit Bo Nix on their team. I think that's the only reason they're bad.
Oh, Bo Nix, a piece
If
of
they
shit.
didn't have Bo Nix, I think they'd be a lot better. You know, they probably would have beat Washington without him. He's holding them back.
Oregon is a better team than Washington.
They're not.
Washington,
They're not. What would they have to beat them?
You're
10 times in a
You gonna
season?
let me finish? You gonna let me finish?
They couldn't
If
do
you
it.
play them
Washington
100
is-
times, they'll get one win.
Washington's the first ever team in college football history to win 10 or more games by single-digit point totals. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They have a horseshoe jammed about 8 foot up their ass. And don't worry, Michigan and Big Blue is coming to absolutely pound the living shit out of the Huskies comes Monday night, Grumpy. You're about to see Michigan, shovel the ball right down their throat. That's exactly what Michigan's about to do. If Michigan doesn't outsmart themselves, run the ball, pound the living shit out of them, and Penix gets a little pressure on his face, game over.
Hold on. How many games did they win by? And what was it? How many points?
10 games by single-digit point totals.
You're wrong.
I'm
You're
not
wrong.
wrong.
I'm looking at it right now. Okay, let's count it up. Now they've played 14 games, right?
Okay.
37-31. That's single digits, right? 56-19.
Not.
Okay. 43-10.
Not. Are we going we're at the beginning of the year right now?
I'm going to go down all the way. 41-7.
No.
59-32.
No.
31-24.
Yes.
36-33.
Yes.
15-7.
Yes.
42-33.
42-33. Yes.
52-42.
No.
35-28.
Yeah.
22-20. Yes. 24-21. Yes. 34-31.
So is it 9 only?
Is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. They only won 9 games by single-digit point totals. I'm sorry. It's 9. We just counted it along. It's 9. We just counted 9. And they were talking about the telecast. It's the first time it's ever been done in college football history that a team has won 9 games by single-digit point totals. Guess what? You only can have the horseshoe shoved so far up your ass before somebody comes and punches it right out of you. Michigan is going to, they are bigger, more physical. They're going to pound the living shit out of Washington. Washington's small, undersized D-line is going to get the shit kicked out of them. Watch. Their coach, hopefully their running backs, don't try to fumble the ball away 2 or 3 times. If Michigan just shores things up on the special teams, they will kill Washington.
Didn't you
kill them?
Didn't you say that Texas was going to do the same thing? Didn't you say Oregon was going to do the same thing?
Oregon is a better team.
Didn't you say Oregon was going to do the same thing? Texas was, I guarantee you, Texas is going to blow them out.
You know what this was with Texas's game?
Keep on thinking Washington kept blowing out, and they keep winning.
You want to know what it was against the Texas team? Washington just had the least amount of penalty yards they ever accumulated in a single game this season against Texas, just conveniently, and they shored everything up. They played the cleanest game they've ever played. They only had like 9 yards in penalties against them. That was pretty good. That was pretty good by Washington.
Vegas, baby. They knew what they wanted. Vegas. Number 1 against number 2. Thank you, Vegas. Appreciate it.
Oh, man. So here's the thing. I think I know who who I'm picking. That's all I'm going to say, Grumpy.
Really, I know you're picking too.
I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to whoever will make Vegas the most money.
I just look at it this way. For myself, I just think Washington's offense is just too wide open for Michigan, and I just don't think that Michigan's offense is at a good enough level.
Here's my thing.
I just don't think they are.
Here's my thing. Do you guys find it funny that both of these games went literally right down to the wire?
Very coincidental. Right? That's all I'm going to say. A lot of coincidence.
After last year, they had the absolute steamroll blowout of Georgia against TCU. They're like, maybe we can't do this year. Let's have both these games go right down to the wire. Very last play.
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolute horse shit.
Now, I will tell you that I thought was kind of funny. That was like, wow, both of these games right down to the wire. I was shocked. And I guess we'll see how it transpires on Monday.
It's all scripted.
Whoa. I like it. It's all scripted.
This is and for people who don't know, people on the show, this is the type of insanity that I have to deal with on a regular basis.
It's not insanity. You just can't handle it. You can't handle the truth.
What movie is that from, Grumpy?
A Few Good Men.
One of your favorites. Whoa, there he is. All right, let's get.
I was on A&E today. I watched a little bit of today. Good movie.
All right, here you go. Texas. Wow, Texas sucks.
Texas sucks. Says Ewers blows.
He doesn't.
He blows. He sucks, blows, and swallows. Texas losing big pieces of the NFL. Byron Murphy, Brooks, Sweat, Worthy, likely AD Mitchell gone too. Going to have to lean heavily on the transfer portal to bring folks in for immediate impact. Well, I just think that's unfortunately that's kind of the way that that college football is going now.
Let me ask you this: Byron Murphy's a D end or a D tackle? What does he impact the production of Quinn Ewers? I'm not too concerned about that. Look at the recruiting class. Texas is a fine recruiting class coming in. Their team that took a big step forward this year. And I'll put it to you like this: I like what I see in Quinn Ewers. I love what I see from him. Simple.
Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. will decide to transfer to Texas next year and play with Quinn Ewers.
Well, now I will say, could you
get paid the most amount of money?
He's going to the NFL.
Could you believe that coach for Texas? He had the first 40 offensive plays scripted.
I don't know how much of that is true.
They said it during the game.
I know they said it, but I wonder how much
they were lying.
I just don't. At some point in time, I think you just have to come off of that. And he did come off of it eventually. They're running the ball at will, but they were like,
let's do a screen out here. Like Sarkisian, they were running the ball, pounding the living shit out of the ball, driving them off the line of scrimmage. I mean, they were getting 4 or 5 yards of push just from the O-line. Like, let's run a screen play here. Let's go ahead and run a bomb. I'm like, dude, you're running the ball right now at 6 or 7 yards a carry. That is what you do until they stop you. And once they stop you and start playing more guys in the box, great. Now we're throwing the ball all over you like we've got a field day. I thought Sarkisian was one of the worst called games I've seen from him in quite some time. It was pathetic.
I like Steve Sarkisian. I think he's a good quarterback.
I do too.
I think he's a good coach. I do. Regardless of that game, I think he's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach, but it's just a very bad moment on his part. That's all. But let's get some comments here. Texas sucks, also says Grump.
Likely going to see those tallies in the win column for the Horns down and Oklahoma go down once they join the SEC in the fall. What do we think? 7-8 wins?
If they play Captain Freeze and the Auburn Tigers, I think you're going to see them get some wins against them.
Now,
I have no idea because I don't feel confident with Oklahoma's quarterback at all after watching him play in that bowl game. He sucks. He fucking blows. 3 interceptions. Well,
okay, but he hadn't played all year, right? And he just, he's thrown in for a bowl game because a guy sits out. I don't know how much you can and I thought he was pretty good until the end of the third quarter. I mean, but it's just I'm just kind of that's just kind of the way it is with NIL, right? I mean, I think with a full off season, he might be okay. He's a young quarterback. I don't think they're going to win as many games as they did last year. I know that they're with how many teams are going to be in the SEC now?
A shit ton. Well, who knows? Florida State might be joining as well. Apparently, they're going to pay the $124 million to get out of the ACC.
But, geez, they should just let you get out of that conference. But I just think that you're not going to play all the SEC teams. You're going to have is it going to be like the 2 conferences?
Yeah, it's going to be like that. And then I think they're going to either split Texas and Oklahoma up or just lump them into a conference.
Well, I think you're going to see Texas and Oklahoma are going to play one another every year.
Well, that's always going to be a game on their schedule, but I don't know if they're going to be in the same conference. Like that might be their out of conference game. That's why I think Oklahoma is getting rid of the Oklahoma State rivalry game.
Okay. I'll be interested to see how all that works out with so many teams. That's all.
Oh, and this is kind of off topic, but Ricky Rubio retired today officially from basketball.
Wow.
He's been playing for the last 20 years.
How old is he?
What? 20?
33. He started playing professional basketball in Spain when he was 14. He was on the Spanish national team at 17. He's been playing in the league. He was drafted in 2011, but he's been playing professional basketball since 2009.
Wow.
Damn.
It's hard to believe. We don't obviously I don't watch enough pro basketball. But I thought it's interesting you say, gosh, he's retiring and he's like 35 years old. It's like, wow, where'd time go?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's been in there for a hot minute.
Let's go to the next comment, please, Mr. X.
All right.
Derek Monroe. I always question his football acumen. Honestly,
he's got a picture of him in a football. So that's why this guy, Derek Monroe, knows what he's talking about. Look at this. He's got himself in a football uniform. He says, "Go Big Blue." That's right, Grumpy. Go Big Blue. He said they tried to keep Bama in the game as much as possible. They still took care of business. Washington's O-line against that Michigan's D-line will be the difference maker in the national title. Absolutely. And you're about to see here, Michigan with that big O-line is about to pummel the little tiny pipsqueaks in the Pac-12. Absolutely manhandle the Washington Huskies, Grump.
TJ, you know what? I think that's exactly how Derek Monroe would have said that comment if he was speaking on here. The same exact tone and everything.
Exactly. That's usually what he says.
I'm sure we'll be talking about this again on Sunday.
Oh,
hell yeah, we're going to be talking about. We're going
to right before the game.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of football, NFL games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the day before the game.
Next
one thing, I know. One thing. You want to know why the NFL has such strict rules against hitting quarterbacks? Did you see how many quarterbacks are going to be sitting out this week? Because they're saving for playoffs, and you're getting guys like Joe Montedots and Mike the Greek Melaniatis in there. And,
Tony Cutlets out there.
Yeah, Tommy Cutlets. I mean, these are the type of guys. That's why they protect the quarterbacks, because they're not tough like they were in the olden days. They're a little soft.
The olden days.
That's how I feel about wide receivers as well. They are the biggest prima donna position out of all the positions in the NFL. If you don't throw them the ball enough, they'll bitch and complain and whine. Then they take one shot to the chest and they got to be rushed to the emergency room.
Okay. Freedom Adventure says, Grumpy and Son X, please tell the truth. Is TJ a bartender at a club called Manhandled? Is that why he keeps saying Manhandled last episode? Does that explain his shirt tonight and his facial hair?
Yep, he's promoting.
I don't know. Club name Manhandled. I don't know what he's been handling. Probably cylindrical objects.
Yeah. I will tell you this much here. Freedom Fun Adventure. You can book it now that Michigan will absolutely manhandle Washington. That's it.
I'm rooting for
Heard it here
Michigan.
first.
Honestly, I am rooting for Michigan to win. I want
You're
Michigan
not.
to win.
You're not. You just Penix. He's so good. Penix. He's so
He's
good.
going to break out the purple and gold on Monday.
I am able to root for teams, but I can still think that another team is going to win.
Yeah, maybe your brain's gone to mush. Washington.
And then you'll hear this. Good. I'm happy if Michigan wins. Good. I'm happy Michigan.
He won't stand on the same values in the bullshit that he's been touting the whole time. He's like, good, I'm happy they won. That's it. I'm just happy. Move right on to the next.
I was listening to YouTube squawk boxes on Monday.
Yeah.
YouTube was so ridiculous on Monday. I seriously, it was like.
And guess what, Grumpy? We're bringing that same energy next Monday.
Like you're back to being 5 years old again. I'm like, come on, squawk boxes.
Oh,
I was just jealous.
He is jealous. That's a fact.
Joseph C. says, so does Jim Harbaugh bail from Michigan if he wins the national title? I tend to think he will. I think he's leaving regardless.
Yes, I agree.
He's hired Don Yee, who is Tom Brady's agent, and Jimmy Crapolos. So I think he's absolutely going to the pros.
Yes.
Right now, people are saying Raiders. I don't know how successful he'd be, but that's where they're leaning.
It's kind of bullshit that Antonio Pierce won't get a full-time gig.
How do you know? Oh, well, yeah.
Well, they're gonna. If that's the case, then Antonio
Okay,
Pierce will get it.
But Jim Harbaugh has been a good NFL coach too.
I get it. I'm just saying this. Now that's a guy. Jim Harbaugh is a guy who went from college to the pros. He did it in Stanford. Went to Stanford. Who's the first to coach at Stanford. Like he's probably been, in the recent generation, the most successful from college to the pros.
Yeah.
He went Stanford first, made them a winner, a real legitimate talent in the Pac-12. Then he went to the 49ers. Then he came and turned that Michigan program around. He is a good coach.
You know what he could never do, though? Win a championship.
You know one thing he's about to do come Monday night, Grump? Win a championship. Okay,
now,
let's get a few.
I saw an interview with, it looked like him, but I'm like, gosh, does he really look that old? Maybe. And an older lady was his dad and his mom. His dad looks just like him, same freaking glasses, and the mom. And they're like, yeah, you could just tell, okay, you know why Jim Harbaugh is the way he is? Because if you saw these two going at it back and forth on how, they were beating Alabama in all these plays, I'm like, holy shit, that was a competitive house. I felt bad for John Harbaugh. That's what I felt bad for.
Because he's his brother? Sure.
Well, he was the little brother out there.
Did you already read this one, Grump?
Yes.
Nice comment, X. Nice job.
Michigan -3 in Natty. I hate when people say Natty. Derek,
you're better.
Natty, Grump.
Derek, you're better than that. Just say national champion.
You know what they're going to say? Michigan will be Natty Nation after they win.
Natty Nation, Grump.
Johnny Mac says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Johnny Mac. Always a pleasure. Johnny Mac says, Grump, Alabama lost. So sad. I thought they were going to win. I really did.
Grumpy was crying on Monday. You should have seen him.
I'm glad Michigan won. I'm glad. I thought they were. I thought once again. I thought the coaching was going to cost Michigan. That's what I thought was going to happen.
No, you know what's going to cost Michigan? Fucking number 82. That piece of shit. Pack your bags, bedazzled mouth guard. Get out of town.
Joseph C says FSU belonged in the playoff. No, they didn't.
He's joking.
A competitive game against Georgia, only lost by 60. Or maybe
he's being sarcastic.
Okay. Fucking Grumpy. Jesus Christ.
And yes, Georgia should have been the playoff. I don't care if they were playing a B squad FSU. Yeah, I think Georgia was absolutely one of the best 4 teams in the country.
See you later, Bama.
I was talking with somebody. They thought that Florida State decided to sit so many guys so they could use that as the excuse. Oh, well, that's the reason why we lost. We're actually a way better team than that. We just decided to not take it seriously because we didn't get a fair shake in getting in the playoffs.
Honestly, what Florida State should have done if they really wanted to stand on that sort of morals, they just said, "Yeah, we're not going. We're not accepting the bid."
You want Florida State? You want Florida State? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Georgia sat the same amount of players, or just around the same amount of players. There were 40 total players who sat out of that game.
Do you want what Florida State should have done? They just should have said, "Yeah, we play in the ACC. We're just not good enough."
Yep. All righty, keep going with the comments, Eric.
Johnny Mac says, Grump, I think Georgia beats all Final Four teams with a month of there. Perhaps. Perhaps. I don't think this year's Georgia team was as good as the previous 2 years. I all year I've said Michigan's defense has been tremendous, and Washington. I've seen a lot of Washington this year. I'm surprised. Like I said, I think Washington's really good. I think they're very well coached. Michigan, I think their defense is outstanding. I didn't think Alabama's offense was good enough. I thought Michigan would handle them easier, honestly. And Texas, I didn't think their defense was good enough, and that proved to be the case.
Let's go with their X.
Freedom Fund Adventure says Michigan won, which I acknowledge was possible, but they sure as hell didn't manhandle Alabama, as some ape guaranteed us they would. How often is TJ wrong? Now, I will say that they absolutely dominated in the first half. Total domination in the first half. But what happens in a lot of games, many games, most games, you dominate a team like that and you're only up by 3 points on the scoreboard, you tend to lose those games.
Yeah.
And if Alabama would have won that game, I wouldn't have said it was because Alabama necessarily was a better team than Michigan, but they were able to withstand the onslaught. Michigan made some tactical blunders, and it would have cost them. That's what happened. Their special team, the difference in the special teams was stark. The field goal kicker, the holder, the snapper, the
fumbled punt, missed extra point, missed field goal.
Yep.
The fumbled punt was when Alabama was like, we couldn't move the ball to save our life. So Merry Christmas. We're giving you the ball at the 25-yard line. Hopefully you can pound the ball 25 yards for a touchdown.
And I thought McCarthy was good at quarterback in the big moments, but I felt on whole, I thought that the players from Alabama, as opposed to players from Michigan, the Michigan guys, I don't think they're ready for prime time. They just seem like particularly the special teams guys, it was like the moment was too big for them. But Alabama had been there before every year, right? They're always there. I think that kind of benefited them. But, hey, congrats to Michigan. I'm glad they won. I hope they win Monday night, but I don't think they will.
Let's go with their X there. Johnny Mac says,
you are correct. Coaches lose games. Absolutely. Johnny Mac also adds, yes, Auburn coaches lost the Bama game. Harbaugh will lose the Natty. John, no.
Natty Nation, bro.
Championship for Michigan.
Natty.
Goon says, Son X, do you have a good feeling about this podcast tonight, or do you have concerns?
I had a good feeling about tonight's podcast.
That's what I hear. Texas sucks.
This is a new person for us. Texas sucks. He seems like freeze warning and all those types of guys.
I think it is freeze warning, Grub.
Alabama had their mishaps as well. Almost a handful of bad snaps, especially on the last play. O-line was pathetic. TJ confuses manhandle with confusing the Bama O-line, not like it was kids versus adults.
Honestly, if they hadn't made those blunders, they would have beat the shit out of Alabama that game. Because momentum is a huge part in the game. They had all the momentum. Regardless of what you think, momentum plays a big-ass part in sports. It really
absolutely
does.
But that's what I'm saying. Michigan did not execute at all on specials.
Well, that's my point. If they get that useless piece of shit 82 out of there and put somebody else back there who can catch fucking punts, they wouldn't be running those issues.
But that's what turns the game, is not executing plays. That's what turns the tide. That fumble. I mean, even in the Texas Washington game, Washington was dominating from the beginning, and the kid from Washington fumbles the punt too. And it sparks Texas. All of a sudden, they're able to score. They'd stop them 2-3 straight times to start the game. The kid fumbles, turns it into a touchdown. Now it's a game.
No, it was a field goal. They didn't capitalize and score a touchdown.
I thought they scored a touchdown.
It was only a field goal.
It was a field goal.
It certainly gave them momentum, though, for certain.
Think about it. The kid from Texas fumbled the ball right out of half. Too.
Yeah. Well,
John Joseph C. Grumpy.
I mean, is Alabama saying we're going to complain about NILs? Well, he has been for a year and a half. When they are paying athletes before illegally with no one noticing, Alabama's coffers are fine. Pay the players and stop complaining. That was the issue I had. X, I will let you talk as soon as I just finish this real quick point. That's what I felt about Saban all along. He was used to getting that advantage because they've been doing it illegally forever. Certainly on a greater scale than other teams. And as soon as it was legalized, he didn't like it because it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit and cost him players. Go ahead, X. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think it's more so the fact that they didn't notice. I think that there was they just kind of drew a blind eye to it, because everybody knew that they were paying players. You're going to see probably in the near future players are going to come out and say, "Yeah, we were absolutely being paid to go to school here," which I mean, a lot of teams do that. I don't really see anything wrong with it. Now every team has the opportunity to do that, and I think I agree with you, Grump. That's the reason why he's pissed off. Is because now he has to compete harder to get these recruits.
Makes it
Well,
easy to be enticed away from a school.
Yep.
Once
But-
you agree to stuff, I mean, it's like, okay, really you're not supposed to talk, and it's really like, okay, your team can get heavily penalized if you're talking and they're not in the portal. Well, how can you advertise to a player beforehand? Not only am I going to be breaking the rules of the portal, now I'm also going to break the rules ahead of time of the paying the player under the table. It's just like there was a lot more steps I feel like people had to go through in order to transfer away. Where now with the NIL money, it's like, great, well, shit, I don't have to feel like I'm shackled to Bama because they're paying me. Now I could just get paid by anybody else, and it maybe is comparable.
Speaking of NIL, how long do you think it is before you hear ex players come out and are going to be upset because they didn't get the ability to earn NIL money?
Nobody.
You don't think anybody will complain about that? No ex athletes.
No, the rules
Maybe guys who were really good in college that didn't end up panning out.
No, the rules are different now than they were then. But you'll still see the NCAA prosecute a coach for buying a kid a lunch.
A burger. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Nice comment here, Grump.
Gunga says, I'm ashamed to admit I don't know who the heck Harrison Bader is. Is he any good? Will he play as hard as a younger Grumpy would? Harrison Bader signed with the Mets. He played with the Yankees. I think was it last year? I know the year before they traded for him. And I think he was with them last year. He was injury prone. He used to play for St. Louis Cardinals. He's an outfielder. Typical Mets signing.
He's nothing to write home about. He's a guy who stole a few bases, if I'm remembering correctly, too. And he's a guy he tries to hit somewhat for average or like for contact instead of a power hitter.
He's got good wheels. Steal you some bases. He's okay. I mean, they traded him from St. Louis because they had a glut of outfielders. He was part-time starter for the Yankees. Hurt a lot last couple of years.
Let's look at this one here. Mbappe to Anfield. Grumpy.
No, not happening.
That's been the rumors. I think it's either going to be Real or he's going to re-sign and waste his career with PSG.
100% agree.
I mean, Anfield, Liverpool is making a big push at the end. Who knows?
Liverpool has to offload funds to be able to afford Mbappe.
Well, I guarantee you they're going to offload Mohamed Salah this winter transfer window. Now with the Saudi league expanding to 10 international players allowed on the team.
Oh, wow. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
You're going to see a lot of players transfer this winter transfer window.
I don't think there's going to be as many players transferring in the winter. In the summer, yes. But remember, you have to be out of contract before you can transfer in midseason. I mean,
unless they pay a transfer fee.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let's say Liverpool gets rid of Salah and wants Mbappe. Mbappe can't play for them till next year. They're
not in Champions League.
Yeah, they're not in Champions League. He'd be able to play league play. They're in Europa League.
They're in Europa League, man. They weren't good enough.
Okay, I just don't think you're going to see it.
I can only watch them on what is it? Fridays?
Thursdays.
Thursday.
Grump. Here's the thing: they could do that. The rumor is he's already agreed to. They've agreed to terms. They're only asking for like £80 million, apparently.
Who?
Where's this rumor from?
He's out of contract. They don't have to pay PSG anything. He's free transfer.
He's a free transfer.
He's a free transfer.
How's this look, Grumpy?
I honestly, Real Madrid is taking the stance that they're giving him 2 weeks. They make a contract offer. He's got 2 weeks, and if he does the same thing that he did the last couple of times, they're just going a different direction. And I think they're correct to do that.
Yep, they said January 15th is the date. If he doesn't decide to sign by January 15th, they are moving on to Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I mean that's the direction I would go. Honestly, Is Mbappe a great player? He absolutely is. Would he help Real Madrid? He absolutely would. Does he have a lot of baggage?
Yes.
Certainly does. And I mean, that's one thing about this Real Madrid team. I don't think they're as talented as teams in the past, but they're a true team. They really are. And everybody believes in sacrificing for the unit. And this could absolutely upset the apple cart. We'll see. His salary coming in would be twice as much as anybody else on Real. That could cause problems in the locker room. I take him. Like I said, if they sign him, great. But I wouldn't let him string them along like they did a couple of years.
You need to just move on.
Dude, it's like yes or no. I mean, at this point, it's yes or no.
And honestly, the thing is, he's no spring chicken either. He's 25.
He's still young enough. But
my thing is, if he signs another 2-3 year contract with Liverpool or signs a 2-3 year contract with PSG, I wouldn't go after him again.
I agree.
He's a guy who, in his career, when he can't move the same way, could be sitting up at striker.
I don't think he's a true striker, though. I don't think he's a true striker.
His game is predicated on his speed. Once his speed goes, he's done.
I don't think he's a true striker.
He's not a guy you see ripping screamers from outside the box, placing phenomenal, perfect passes all the time. He's a guy who gets around people with dribbling and speed. That's what his game is based on.
He's a finisher, though. He can finish.
But guess what? When you can't get open like you used to be able to without that pace, you're done.
Yeah.
Look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
I don't think that. Okay, but Boomerang was still a good player into his 30s. I mean,
it's because Boomerang had the speed.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Mbappe still has speed too. It's not like he's slowing down yet.
I'm saying, but when he hits 28, you don't think he's going to slow down at 28?
Like I said, it's now. If I'm Real Madrid, it's now or never.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if he signs a contract somewhere else, because it's going to be 2 to 3 years at least, bare minimum. He's not just going to sign a year contract. If he signs a 2 to 3 year contract, I'm not looking at him again. What are you going to get? 1-2 years of use out of him after that?
He has been really, really good at maximizing his value with PSG, who's owned by the Saudis. Saudi state-run team. So, I mean, he makes a boatload of money. And
he's going to be losing $80 million in his contract if he decides to
but here's the thing. Real was just going to pay that as a signing bonus. See, so he really wasn't going to lose that at all. That was the whole thing. They were going to give him a signing bonus and give him the salary. And like I said, they want certainty, yes or no, because he can sign a contract right now. I don't know what they call it, something where you can sign a pre-contract, whatever the hell it is, but it's binding. So he can do that right now, and they say that they want to give him a couple of weeks, and that'll be that. And then they'll know, and then they go to plan B. I mean, that's just the way it is.
All righty. You guys get caught in the weeds over there. Here you go. Freedom Fund Venture.
Grumpy and X. If NIL was around when TJ was playing ball, what do you feel his NIL compensation package would have been? Happy Meal and some free swag, something better? Grump, would you handle negotiations? Yeah, here's the thing. TJ, it would have been food related for certain.
Yep. It would have been, you know what it would have been? It would have been a member's gift card to Golden Corral.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine where it was like the local restaurants would be like, hey, we'll let you eat here once a week for free. Anything is on us is on the house, man. As an old lineman, oh, fuck yeah. If you could
be getting 2 weeks, TJ would be getting 2 weeks worth of food in one day. Bill comes to $800.
TJ never missed a meal in college, ever.
Some would say he ate 2 a day.
Some would say that.
Who
says TJ and Son X. While listening back to an old Islanders Never Say Die episode, Grumpy said he has an overwhelming sense of self-esteem. Do you agree or disagree? TJ is a time to pee. TJ's been better. TJ's been better not peeing during podcasts.
I think he catheterized himself for the podcast.
There it is. But no, not time to pee.
I'd say Grumpy is self-esteem. Yeah.
Texas Sucks says here, Washington missing their starting running back. Well, maybe
he played throughout the game. He got hurt at the very end.
Washington could handle horns down.
Washington could handle the horns down D-line. What makes you think the Huskies can't step to Michigan's D-line? Trusting Washington's offense to score more.
because you saw what Michigan does against good teams. They've been dialing up pressure, holding and capturing teams left and right. And it wasn't like, oh, they're only doing against the slow Big Ten teams.
Alabama's not that good.
Play the really good SEC
Alabama.
teams. When the Big
They
Ten
beat Georgia. What do you mean?
Athletes play the better athletes of the SEC, they can't keep up. Oh, they're going to get exposed. Yet we saw that didn't happen. And guess what? It sure as shit won't happen against one of the worst conferences, one of the worst Power 5 conferences for football, the Pac-12.
Here we go. Pac-12. Now I'm certain the Pac-12. Now I'm certain Washington's going to win.
I'm just going to say I think Michigan's defensive line in particular is a lot better than Texas's. Texas' defense is not that good. They gave up a shitload of points this year.
Yeah, Washington's really good though.
Michigan gave up 30 points in their first 5 games of the season.
All year I've said Michigan's defense is outstanding. I just think Michigan's offense is not good.
Michigan's offense is not good.
See, that's my thing.
Defense wins games, though.
If Washington scores 4 touchdowns, this game's over.
What's the one thing Michigan can do? What's the one thing Michigan can do on offense?
Run the ball.
Turn the ball over.
What's the one thing?
No, that's special teams stuff.
What's the one thing that Washington cannot stop? It's not the pass. They can run them down right down the throat.
Overall, were you impressed by the Corum kid? Or did he kind of shrink from the moment, too, a little bit?
Who?
Corum.
I thought he played like shit.
Yeah, see, these are big games, and Michigan has tended to shrink in these big games. I'm sorry, Michigan. I'm rooting for Michigan. I just think Washington's going to win. That's all. I think their offense is good, and Michigan's offense isn't good enough.
We're an hour in. Let's get through the comments. Go ahead, Grunt.
I was just going to say, I will say that overtime run that he had, Corum, was phenomenal, though.
Yes. He
took over in overtime.
I thought sometimes he just looked lazy, looked lethargic out there in the field. I didn't like it. But let's get to some comments here. No, Goon X, you just got rid of the comment there.
We read that one already, I thought.
No, we didn't.
No, we did not. Here you go.
Goon says, Son X, do you agree that unlike Howard Stern and Bruce Springsteen, the grumpy old man is not a fake everyman?
He's not a fake at all.
Grumpy's definitely an everyman. Texas sucks, Grump.
Grumpy, tell them how they acted like bitches some more. Ha ha. They've been whacking off on Ewers and Texas all season, and they get exposed. Just a matter of time. It's true.
Exposed. Please stop. They lost by what, 5 or 6 points on a last-second play where they didn't convert? Are you kidding me? Exposed.
If Tom Brady was the quarterback, they would have won that game.
Here's my thing. Early in the year, Texas sucks. Told me that Texas had no shot in hell making the playoffs, and guess what? They made the playoffs.
I just want to say that there is no truth to the rumor that Michigan tried to contact Tom Brady to see if he had any eligibility back to come in the second half.
What would you say if Tom Brady had eligibility and decided to come back and suit up Grump at the young age of what, 41 now?
They'd absolutely win the game, no doubt in my mind. He could come in at 90 and still win. He's not like Patrick Mahomes. Johnny Mack says every time Saban loses an SEC championship or in the playoffs, he complains about some rule. The powers that be appease him and make the rule change he whines about. He does. And that's when you win a lot, that's part of you kind of get that you have that cachet and you get those things happening. But NIL has absolutely leveled the playing field and hurt Alabama for certain.
Wait, what rule was he bitching about?
I don't know. He's always complaining about something.
Now, really quickly, speaking of him, as you're getting the next comment pulled up, X, I want to show the play. At first, I was like, why the hell are they running like a quarterback? Why the hell are they running this quarterback run? I'll let you read this comment here real quick.
The Grumpy and his 2 little bitches show.
There it is. So this is the thing.
It was a bad snap also.
It's not. It's the fucking quarterback making the wrong read.
Okay, it was a bad snap. It absolutely was.
Stop, Grumpy, please.
Look where the ball is.
It's a shitty snap.
Here's the thing.
They showed it later from directly behind. It's right at his feet. It's a bad
Stop talking and listen. I'm going to teach you something, okay? Please. What do you see here?
I see the ball at his feet. That's
congratulations. Did he catch the ball? Yes, he did. Well, that's great. That's all we need to see. You got a pulling guard. The right guard is pulling. He steps up. What's the move? You're
Straight
not
in the line.
You're supposed to, and you can see it better from the back angle. Either here's the one or two things. It's a read option where you either say, hey, absolutely it is. What do you think this guy's doing here? It's an option.
You pitch the ball at him. That ain't they're never.
You have man on man. You've got man on man, wide receiver on corners, and you're waiting, and you think your running back can beat the safety. If you're running, you have to follow the down pulling lineman. Look at this shit.
He got the plays mixed up on the scorecard. He read tush push, and it actually was not supposed to be a tush push play.
Because 0 cuts too far up the field. You follow the pulling guard and walk it into the end zone, but he fucking stuck it right in the middle.
He had no shot of scoring when that ball was on the ground. It threw off the timing on the whole play. And here's the thing. It was a dumb play call anyway because there was no threat of the pass.
Ugh.
That was the problem. No threat of him completing a pass.
Well, because he can't throw the football. Well, you can't have a quarterback in that can't throw the football.
There you go. Gunnar says, although this isn't the Islanders podcast, TJ, you should pull up the video of Horvat scoring the first goal tonight. It's possibly the loudest cheering I've ever heard for a visiting team. Yes, it's absolutely a big Islander crowd tonight. A lot of Let's Go Islander chants there in Arizona.
I did hear that too.
Texas Sucks says Ewers had one passing touchdown against Washington Monday night. What blinders do you guys have on? 56% completion rate. Where do you dream up these stats?
He had over 300 yards passing. He had one passing touchdown because guess what? They could run the ball at will on Washington. Why would you do anything else?
Next,
how many rushing yards did Quinn Ewers have? Those count too, I think. Like 70 rushing yards.
54 rushing yards on 8 carries,
including sacks. So he had 54 rushing yards, including however many times he was sacked. That's not bad.
But he might have had those 300 yards, but man, a lot of them were like in the last 3 minutes.
Wow, a lot of them were him driving down the field to give them a last-second chance to win the football game. Wow, when it mattered the most.
I didn't realize Texas fumbled the ball 4 times that game.
They didn't lose it 4 times, though. They didn't lose it 4 times.
They lost it 2.
Okay, so they only lost 2 fumbles, and Washington lost a fumble as well.
They lost 1.
I mean, yeah, okay, well, 2-1. So it's like
can't lose a turnover battle.
Okay, that's the reason. Okay, excuse me.
Testing Sucks says, yeah, Ewers had 300 yards passing, but most of those were garbage yards. Okay, they're not garbage yards.
In the fourth
quarter. They were garbage yards. If they were garbage yards, they would be down by 20 points, and he's just trying to
They were down by 13 points in the fourth quarter. You realize that, right?
They lost by how many points with the ball at the end? They're not garbage yards. Are you ridiculous? Ridiculous. Yeah. Freedom Fund Adventure Grump.
Grumpy, you and the warden should sue the hell out of whatever private school you sent these 2 squeaky bitches to. Wouldn't even need to go to court. Show them some episodes of this show and they will settle.
God.
Next comment here. Texas Sucks
brutal. Here. Washington had 5 penalties for 39 yards, just a couple more than 9 yards. Keep dreaming up more fake stats. Washington had the same amount of penalties versus Oregon the first time with just 6 more yards.
Yeah, and I think Texas had 66 yards in penalties.
Well, they shouldn't have committed.
Maybe they racked up a whole bunch of penalties at the end. I don't remember. There was a long time they only had 2 penalties for 9 yards. Who knows? Joseph.
There were some questionable calls in both games. I'll say.
Joseph C says, love all these Eagle fans crapping their pants because they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. We're all of them who said Jalen Hurts was a top 5 quarterback, by the way. I think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 fantasy quarterback, but he's not a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's a very good quarterback, period. I think there's a lot of internal dissension with the Eagles locker room. A.J. Brown has been causing quite a stir. I think that's problematic for the Eagles going forward. You could easily see them one and done in the playoffs.
I think you're right. I like Jalen Hurts as a person. I think he's faced a lot of adversity, but I don't think he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, they've underperformed like shit this year, the Eagles, in my opinion.
Yeah. Johnny Mack, Grumpy.
Throwing down the gauntlet of challenge, saying Auburn will beat the Sooners at home. Freeze will have a top 7 recruiting class and bring in a quarterback.
Hey, Oklahoma did just fire their defensive coordinator today, so
there you go.
They already hired somebody, by the way.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay.
He hired somebody from Jacksonville State.
Oh boy, that's not good. That's not going to work out.
They're expecting to hire Jacksonville
You know
State
what? I actually am
coordinator Zach.
confident
You're
that
gonna
Oklahoma
wait.
will
You're
lose to
gonna
Auburn.
wait. You're gonna wait so I can tell you what they actually did. X, give me a sec. They're intending to hire Jacksonville State defensive coordinator Zach Alley as a replacement for Ted Roof. Go ahead, Grump. Go ahead, X.
That's not going to work. That's a bad move. You're bringing in a guy from a HBCU school. Forget it. They might give up 90 points a game with him as a DC.
Yeah, I said now I don't feel confident about Oklahoma winning.
Absolutely not. that's 7 or 8 wins, maybe.
What
5.
do you mean, Grump? That's good to compete with those SEC schools. That's what you need.
Way. Johnny Mac says, War Eagle, Grump. Go War Eagles. Freedom Fun Vet says, okay, Derek Monroe is obviously TJ's fake identity account. Pick that one up from Phil. No, they're actually 2 separate people. Texas sucks. Says bowl clauses requiring players to play shouldn't be included in NIL deals. I 100% agree. If a player is injured, can't play, nobody wants to watch FSU lose by 60. I did. I enjoyed it. That and the transfer portal calendar needs to be fixed.
Real quick, Jackson State is not an HBCU. You're thinking about Grumpy. I'm sorry. Jacksonville State is not an HBCU. You're thinking about Jackson State, where Deion Sanders the coach. Jacksonville State is the Gamecocks. So like they're a D1 AA school. So they're not.
They're the Wish version of South Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not. That's a bad move.
It's good when you're hiring D1 AA defensive coordinators to be your new DC.
That's not going to work.
This is never going to happen. By the way, this comment. They're not going to make it where it's a requirement for these kids to play in bowl games. Because guess what? If you don't require players, then you know what? All teams should have to start their starting quarterbacks today, regardless of whether they made it into regardless of whether the first seed in the playoffs or not for the NFL. Then
I just want to say that bowl games used to be something special. Now they're an afterthought. Honestly, they're an afterthought. No one plays in them. Half the guys sit out. There's 1,000 of them. Nothing means anything anymore. The oversaturation of the bowl games, just terrible.
You have the Husqvarna Lawnmower Bowl where it's just like 2 absolute shit squads facing off against each other. Like, who even cares?
There used to be like maybe 8 bowl games. They had the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
No, it's like 100.
Yeah, now there's a whole lot. But there used to be, I think, like 8.
Texas sucks, Grump.
You don't forget that Michigan got away with a roughing the kicker that stalled an Alabama drive. Penalties hurt Bama as well. That stalled the drive that they looked like they were going to score.
Okay. Let me ask you this. That's not stalling a drive. What that would be is another poor special teams play. Running into a kicker when you're punting the ball on 4th down is not like, oh, man, we were moving the ball down the field, but they missed this call. No, that would be we made such a stupid decision that we gave them another chance.
That kid took a dive and a flop and rolled.
He absolutely did.
Dead. So, but here's the thing. It's all about execution, right? You got to execute the plays.
It was definitely a roughing the kicker.
They also didn't call in that game the McCormick kid, or whoever who the hell's the quarterback? McCormick, is that it? Or McCarthy, that's it. McCarthy got thrown down like 3 yards out of bounds, and they didn't call late head penalty at all.
But it didn't stop. They wound up scoring a touchdown. Yeah, but they wound up scoring a touchdown on that drive anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Okay. Ah, shit. I don't know if I blasted through. X was going on too long.
You skipped one.
I know you're going on.
I lost it.
X. I'm sorry.
Suck. Okay, here.
Damn it. Here it is.
Joseph C says, so who do you guys think are the dark horses in the NFC and AFC playoffs? Seems like everyone has a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. Dark horse teams. Go ahead, X.
Bills.
Bills in the AFC. Anybody in the NFC?
Cowboys, maybe.
Whoa!
I'm sorry.
Holy shit, the Cowboys! X, you heard it here first. X, the Cowboys.
I'm saying dark horse teams.
Going to the Super Bowl.
No, my team, I have the Ravens and the 49ers, but I'm just like, the team that would be like the dark horse to make it would probably be like, I'd say the Cowboys.
We're the boys. The Cowboys.
Them boys,
X,
dude.
the Cowboys.
I'm getting it tatted up. Them boys.
Almost
23.
This is right up there with the Will Levis going number 1.
Hey, Will Levis been fucking balling.
For me, dark horse teams are going to be the Bills, even though I think Miami has a good chance to beat the Bills this week.
Really?
I do, because the game is in Miami, and the Dolphins play much better at home.
And then they'll play against Kansas City in the first round.
It's going to be warm, but I still think the Bills are the dark horse team in the AFC, and I think the Lions are the dark horse team in the NFC.
It's going to be the Bills against the 49ers in the finals. Okay. Next comment. Congratulations to Barzal to the All-Star games, what James F. says here. There you go. And the Coyotes look like they're skating faster than the Islanders. This year, they're doing the All-Star draft. I don't like that. I kind of actually like that.
I like the All-Star draft. I hated where they broke it up into 4 different teams. No. I like the draft a lot better.
X, why did you start this comment? X.
Oh, this is a good one.
Hold on.
Why did you start this comment?
Let me say something first. I don't know if you remember the All-Star draft that they did with Ovechkin, where he didn't want to be drafted. He wanted to be drafted last to win the car. And he's like, he was drafted first overall. And they're like, how do you feel about being drafted first overall? He's like, I'm upset. He's like, I wanted to win that free car. It was just funny stuff like that. Like, you get that from the draft. I don't know.
Jim Farrell says, guys, what do you think of this women's hockey league? X, I'll let you comment first. I'll go last.
Honestly, I do not watch the women's hockey league at all.
No one does.
I have no comment.
TJ?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I tell you one thing, there's a whole bunch of people who are high on copium where they're like, look at all the physicality. They don't think there's physicality. Absolutely there is. Look at how many viewers there were. There's 125,000 viewers on the stream game. I'm like, oh my God, please stop.
There's 5 billion people in this world, and 125,000 watch that shit. Okay. All you need to know is, I mean, what astrospec of the population is that? So all you need to know is Paul Bichonette and the NHL crew was pumping this shit up after the game yesterday, the Devils Washington game. They did. Oh, look at this. These players are so talented. They're not. They're horrid. You know what? And look at the physicality. There was one play where a girl got rubbed off against the boards, and they showed it 8 times. They're allowed to hit. You got this one. It's so good. I'm going to take my girls season games. There was no one in the stands. It looked like the friends and family league. There's only 6 teams in the freaking league. No freaking way. Women's hockey league. Here's the thing. It only survives because the NHL subsidized it, just like the WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. Otherwise, both of these leagues would die on the vine because the product absolutely freaking sucks. You'd much rather watch men who are vastly superior in these particular sports than the women. That's it. I'll bet you they don't have a TV contract. It looked like they had a couple of rabbit ears set up to get the coverage of those games.
I'll tell you this.
It's not a satellite. It's a satellite dish.
Satellite dish, genius.
The NHL does not make enough money to subsidize a failing league. I'll tell you that.
I don't think they do either. They were
pumping
pumping
this
it up.
Is the hit you're talking about, Grumpy. This is the huge hit.
This is it. Wow. They showed it 8 times over and over. That's the hit.
Listen, look at this comment.
That's the Chara check right there.
Look at these comments. Watching the Professional Women's Hockey League, they're straight up bodying each other with no penalties called. This is electric. That motherfucker sounds like Phil's facts when he's talking about the Islanders. That's exactly what he sounds like. It's Phil, but for the Professional Women's Hockey League.
It is freaking ridiculous. That's it. That's it. You can't. Here's the thing. You couldn't pay me to watch that. Honestly, I'd rather take needles to the eyeballs than watch women's hockey.
All right. Let's move on.
Grumpy, we can make that happen.
You know what? Hey, you ever seen the movie Clockwork Orange, where they gave him the medicine and they held the eyes open like this, and then watching women's hockey? No, and you get sick and want to throw up all the time. That's what it's like. Texas Suck says Salah wouldn't leave till the summer, and Mbappe would come summertime. X. Ooh,
Here's the thing. If Liverpool wasn't so fucking stupid this offseason, they sold Mohamed Salah for £200 million, and they didn't say, we've got to hold on to him because we really want to compete in Europa League. They could have made a signing and already had the funds available for Mohamed or for Mbappe, and they wouldn't even have to worry about selling off players.
I will say, I
That'd
think
been something pretty
they're currently first in Premier League, but it's only a matter of time before they fall.
They have games in hand. Other teams have games in hand below them. Here's the thing. I watched them play Burnley where they barely skated away with a 2-goal victory. And I'm like, that one goal was like in the 90th minute. I'm like, yeah, Liverpool ain't that good. That's
And there's also no truth to the rumor that the Women's Hockey League use field hockey sticks. That is not true.
Okay. There you go.
James Farrell says the U.S. gave us a scare in tonight's game, but came back winning 3-2. Who you guys like USA versus Sweden in the finals? I'm going to pick Sweden.
I really thought that Danny Nelson and our other draft pick, I can't even remember the fuck his name is, Quinn Finley, them being out there for the last 70 seconds, the last 60 seconds of the power or the penalty kill to kill off that 6-on-4 that the other team had. Oh my God.
First of all, Phil said that. I check his stats because usually he's lying about that stuff. He's very erroneous on a lot of his stats. And you call it on it, he just shifts to something else. He's like a shapeshifter, that Phil. You can never really pin him down.
He's really good at just moving, and then he finds a hot button issue for you in someplace else. So that's how he gets you to talk about something else. I'm like, he's tricky. He's tricky, Phil.
If he was an animal, he'd be like an eel. It's really tough to pin down.
It's just like anytime, like we'll catch him, like where he's like,
treacherous snake.
Nick Michael. Oh, he's an AHLer. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's in the NHL. Well, they're probably going to put it.
It's ridiculous.
Joseph C. Grump.
It's funny. The schools don't even hide the extravagance of their NIL deals. USC's football's Twitter posted a picture of Caleb Williams in his Los Angeles penthouse. I'm going to tell you something about Caleb Williams.
He blows.
He sucks.
I don't think I never thought he all right. He makes plays. He's not real big. He's only 6 foot tall. I don't think he's going to be successful. I don't think his teammates really like him. Another guy, when you get quarterbacks get knocked down, look at how USC played in the postseason this year.
Yeah.
When he wasn't quarterback. Everybody over there helping the quarterback out. He gets knocked down. They come back, they win. I mean, I just think that maybe there's a little something in his background that's going to prohibit him from being as good as he can.
He'll be drafted early. He's Kyler Murray 2.0, but with the baggage.
I like Kyler Murray.
How did Kyler Murray do this last week? Good. 150 yards passing again? Hold on.
He beat the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Guess what? The Redskins or the Commanders just beat the Eagles too, or whoever. The Eagles just lost to the Giants too. The Eagles are losing every team that they have on the opponent in the schedule list, Grump.
Kyler Murray. First of all, the Eagles didn't lose to the Giants. They beat the Giants. You're wrong.
They did beat the Giants.
Who did they just lose to recently?
You're wrong, Phil Jr.
Who did they just lose to recently, Grump?
Let me look
Arizona. They just lost to Arizona last week.
They lost to Arizona. They lost to
Kyler Murray.
Seahawks.
Seahawks are potential playoff team.
The Seahawks, the Cowboys, the 49ers.
Okay, well, they're all good teams. Those are going to be the top 2 teams in the conference.
Arizona's pretty good too.
And they lost to the Jets this. Well, is that a preseason game? No, they lost to the Jets this year.
Goon Grump.
Why exactly did the great one flounder as a head coach once upon a time?
Soft spoken. Listen, watch him do his TV. He's got no personality. He's very soft spoken. He's not an energized guy, and you need to eventually be able to do that to command a room sometime.
Freedom Fund Adventure says, proud of Barzell being an all-star again, this time as a winger. Good for him. Post had coverage of a new owner and the park. He is prepping away for big events to host like the All-Star Game, the draft, and outdoor classes. Gungun says, are paninis.
Penis on the penis.
He's got panics on the mind.
He's got
paninis more superior than heroes?
Yes.
No. Don't eat them. Texas Sucks says needs to be added that Bryce Young, first pick, and Will Anderson, third pick, both played in their New Year's Day Bowl, maybe, against Kansas State last year and didn't get hurt.
Also needs to be added that Will Shipley played in his bowl game and had to be carted off the field.
He's fine. He's healthy, though.
Okay, luckily, he's fine.
Ooh,
Derek Carroll, here's another good one. Dark horse team in the AFC, maybe the Browns, despite
how
injury.
Joe Flacco plays, absolutely. If he continues doing what he's
Flacco
doing
Nation,
now,
baby.
I could see that for certain.
Flacco Nation, let's ride. Let's get
I
it.
like that, Derek. Texas sucks. Look at
Players-
Derek. He's been on fire tonight. The Browns, Michigan winning. Look at all Derek. Derek is using. Look at all the brain power he's using.
You want to know why he has brain power? He didn't touch that third. He didn't touch the third rail, which is Mahomes versus Brady. As soon as he touches that, he gets electrocuted, and off the rails he comes.
The Texas sucks.
Players have equal chance of getting hurt any other game, so they should finish out their seasons with their team and play bowl games. That is a very recent occurrence, by the way.
It's been since they had the playoffs. You've seen guys start opting out.
I want to say it's like maybe the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, here's the thing. Logically, you have to think, okay, if I get injured in this game, it's going to drop my draft stock. Why would I bother playing in, again, the Husqvarna Lawnmower Bowl, which means absolutely freaking nothing? And all I'm doing is risking losing money.
I don't understand. We had just to let you know, we had an Arizona defenseman just pass the puck right in the slot to Anders Lee, and he beats the goalie 5-hole. Another 5-hole, Freddie 5-hole. What's with these goalies in their 5 holes?
I don't even watch the Arizona game. If you lose to Arizona, you just need to disband the franchise. Arizona blows.
Well, once again, Sorokin's the reason why we're up 3-1. Derek Monroe says, only team who can beat the 49ers and the Ravens in Baltimore is the Browns. It's certainly not the Dolphins. Dolphins
will lose on Sunday night. Goon grump.
Is it only a matter of time until the referees and or head coaches get involved in the synchronized celebration dances in the NFL? We'll be the first team to hire a dance choreographer. I think these guys they practice their little dances and little
more than
whatever the hell they're doing out there more than they practice their positions, honestly. It's just it's ridiculous.
Nice comment there, X.
Joe Flacco isn't leading anyone to a Super Bowl in 2024. LOL.
Flacco Nation, let's ride.
Gungu says, what exactly is the reason why the Coyotes play in such a teeny tiny arena? Meanwhile, the Islanders were forbidden from continuing to call Nassau Coliseum their home because they're owned by the NHL. So when you're owned by the NHL, you do whatever the hell you want. Gungu's, okay. Oh, Texas Sucks says X. Probably should put an explanation point on that. The top players worrying about their draft stock are likely making more NIL money in college than they would on their NFL rookie contract. That's not true.
Depending on where they get drafted.
No excuse to skip bowl games other than injury.
When you're going to lose out on money.
A goal for Lee. Yeah, Merry Christmas. They're giving Christmas gifts away, Arizona's defensemen.
They did again. Well, that's what they do. The coach is shaking his head going, man, at least they're paying me.
It's Julien Gauthier. He's so fantastic, Grump. Can't wait to hear this bullshit.
I mean, let's see. I'm watching it right now. It's just oh my God. Just another shot from outside the circle, just boop, short side. How do you get beat short side from there? You cannot get beat short side. You cannot get beat short side as a goaltender.
Arizona Coyotes.
But you can't get beat short. You can get beat long side. You can never get beat short side when a guy's against the wall. You cannot get beat short side. Texas Sucks says they have player insurance as well. Saban went on a discussion about that today on the Pat McAfee.
Okay, here's the thing that maybe he doesn't understand, and maybe Saban, who's just a football coach, wouldn't understand. Let's say if you're a guy who destroys everything in his knee when he's going out there. Well, maybe you're projected to be a first-round pick, a middle, or even, let's say, a second-round pick. Well, let's say after your rookie contract, a second-round pick for this example. You have your 4-year rookie contract, but let's say you did well in the NFL. Things just click for you. Everything went great. Well, there are occasionally guys, wide receivers, and other players who drafted in the second round, had the 4-year rookie contract, and they're able to sign a huge deal. If you tear every ligament in your knee, you blow your knee in half, well, maybe you're not playing at all. Maybe you get picked in the 6th or 7th round.
Like Julian Edelman, Tom Brady, guys who are picked really, really late, who end up going on to have good careers and make a shit ton of money. Well, they wouldn't be getting paid that because they were projected 7th round pick.
Maybe they don't get drafted at all. Yep. Milo Brownie said, who knew there were so many Islander fans in Arizona?
I think that happens in Arizona, period. I think that there's a lot of other teams' fans.
Yes, because I mean the seats are great. I traveled if I was close to Arizona to go see those games.
Really, that's a game I'd want to watch because I think there's only 5,000 seats. I wish they would do like a almost like a pan back so we kind of see the whole stadium. I'd like to see them do that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I do want to get to a few other topics that we have here designed for the show today. We've talked about Wander Franco, the issues he was in. So, according to prosecutors, Wander Franco, after engaging in sexual relationships with a 14-year-old minor, started to pay 100,000 Dominican pesos, about hold on, $1,700 monthly for a period of time to the girl's mother. Also, they allege on the accusation that Wander's mother transferred money to the minor's mother on 3 instances. Twice, about 500,000 pesos, $8,500, and once $1 million pesos, about $17,000. You talk about getting blackmailed. I always imagine it being a lot more expensive than that. But I mean, like,
but in the Dominican Republic, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm like when you see 100,000 Dominican pesos, I'm like, how much does that convert to in US dollars? $1,700.
Now, okay, I have said that there are different social norms. I didn't realize the girl was 14. I thought she was
you kept saying that the entire time,
but I thought
okay, but your ass was saying dumb shit.
I thought she was like 16.
No, she's 14. We told you she's 14. Your ass doesn't know.
I didn't know she was 14. I thought she was 16, and I think you can be legally married there at 16.
Yeah, she's 14, so not 16.
I didn't know that. See, it's totally different. That's a lot of pesos. I say that Wander Franco's in trouble.
I'd say he's in trouble, right?
Freedom Fighter says only someone who works at a place called Manhandled could think Panini's is superior to Heroes. Derek using
Paninis are superior heroes. It's just that simple.
Oh yeah, TJ's fake account.
If there's one person I'm trusting on food, it's TJ.
Again,
that's right.
The whole team in the goaltender on last goal they all drop their head.
Yeah, they blow. I don't even know you're watching it. They suck. That team blows. It's watching two unbelievably boring.
I'm dropping my head now, thinking this hammerhead is on here.
Grumpy, you like Pat McAfee?
Oh, we should mention this. When I was over at the Grumpy Estate, we were trying to get the Michigan-Alabama game on, and Grumpy put on like ESPN2, and it was their coverage of the game. And Grumpy was like, holy shit, if this is the only coverage of the game, we ain't watching this game today.
I can't watch that asshole. It's like he knows nothing. He was a freaking punter.
Oh, God.
How much does he know about football, really?
He knows how to be loud.
Tell you what football looks like.
I think he's touching one right there.
Phil's Facts just texted me. He said, Gauthier is such a great pickup. I love this guy. His wrist shot is heavy. He honestly...
Look at the goalie go, oh, that tells you all you need to know on the shot that goes in. The whole thing, See, that's what Phil does. When these goals are given up, you can never give up from where that shot was taken. You can never give up a shorthanded goal. I mean, a short side goal. Phil would be lambasting Sorokin if that was the case. I'm just telling you. That's what you do.
Yeah. And now what I'm showing you here, Grumpy. This is Pat McAfee. This is they're talking about Kenny Pickett, who has been downgraded from the starting QB to the backup. And they're going to talk about the situation here. Tomlin goes out there and addresses it, right? Because it's worth stating, right? We've talked about him before in the past. Let's hear what's going on with Kenny Pickett.
Now, they were playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, had a very strong arm when he played before.
Oh, my God.
He might have sucked, but he's great now.
X, can we not? I don't want to see a picture of your nostrils there, X. Stop watching the TV. I feel like you'll like this clip here from Pat McAfee too. Okay,
he's singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Terrible.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph is what he's talking about. So let's watch.
That's what they were playing afterwards in Acrisure.
Yeah.
Okay, full character arc for Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh. From saying this guy needs to be out of town, he's not supposed to be in Pittsburgh, this guy sucks, to actually the entire stadium chanting for him, and then him showing up and having a record day, and George Pickens having his best day, and Jalen Moore blowing people up, and the defense doing their thing, and the Pittsburgh Steelers looking like a kind of an a good football team for the first time, long time. Now they're in playoff conversations, cemented back in it. They might have defensive player of the year and TJ Watt, who leads everything.
Or
but
comeback player of the year.
Who's going to be starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Well, let's hear Mike Tomlin at a press conference talking about both Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett potentially being available.
Same position with Kenny as we were last week. We'll give him a few reps and kind of see where that leads us. But just as I said a week ago in this setting, Mason Rudolph was scheduled to be the quarterback for the week, and we'll see where Kenny is. We have the same mentality as we start this week. Obviously, we have a great deal more comfort because of what we've seen in stadium from Mason Rudolph, and that helps us. But we still really are in the same posture. He's got the ball to start the week, and we'll see where Kenny is from a mobility perspective, and then kind of go from there and plan day by day based on the things that we see from that perspective.
So Coach Tomlin, obviously a phenomenal quote every single time. He took me on a ride there. There was a couple times I'm like, Mason Rudolph's the starter. Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter.
Hold on.
Mason Rudolph's got the ball. That's our posture. Okay. Now we're here. Didn't really give any answers. But what I think I heard was if Kenny Pickett can move well and he looks like he's 100% back, maybe Kenny Pickett will get a little bit more of an opportunity. But instead, Mason Rudolph's going to go. Let's hear from Kenny Pickett on how this entire injury and sitting out has gone and what his thoughts are on the Mason Rudolph-led Pittsburgh Steelers.
Do you feel like you would have to be 100% to be able to go on Sunday?
No, that's not my call. That's a trainer's call.
Having the chance to step back and be on the sidelines and see the game from a different perspective, has it allowed you to see anything different, learn anything, and take some lessons from it?
No.
I tell you one thing, he come off a little bitchy there and unhappy. Has being on the sidelines allow you to learn anything different or gain a different experience there on the sidelines? No. No.
All I'm going to say is he's lucky he didn't have to pick up the microphone because his hands would look so tiny holding that thing.
He's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, I think the only quarterback who's worse than Bo Nix is Kenny Pickett.
Another Bo Nix shot.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right there. X is a little upset. Oh, my gosh. Goon Grump.
Andrews Lee should be going to the All-Star, right? Yeah, they need peanut vendors there, too.
They need fans to watch.
Phil's Facts just said, "Oh man, you must be so sad that Simon Holmstrom has 16 points this season because Holmstrom got an assist on the Gauthier goal."
What did he do? What did he get? The Josh Bailey assist? Because Gauthier had it in the Islanders' defensive zone. He skated all the way up because he only skates in a straight line right down the wing, and he just shot it, right at the face-off dot on the outside, and bam, the goaltender. The fans. The team, the coach, what the fuck? That's what it was. That's what the coach said. What the fuck? He's looking in this. Anybody? Hey, Zamboni boy, why don't you go play goal? This guy's a piece of shit. He let Gauthier score on the short side on a shot from the upper deck. Johnny Mack says, "Boys, I've been really busy with work. Glad to finally spend the podcast with you and not have to watch after hours. Great job, everyone." Thank you, Johnny Mack.
Let's watch it. Here, Grumpy.
Any news on the bitch, Grumpy? Yeah. I wish we would have them talking about the Women's Hockey League. It was the best.
I had that, but I didn't want to watch it.
Oh, yeah, we got to watch that. It's funny. I promise I won't say anything if you play it. Oh, my God.
All righty, let's first watch Jillian Gauthier score a fantastic goal.
Jersey to the front and guided away.
Wow, did you see him touch that puck right here, Grumpy?
It bounced off his stick. It bounced off his skate. Yeah, nice assist. Shit.
It bounced off his skate is right. Oh my fuck! It hits off his arm. That's what it did. It hit off his arm in our own defensive zone.
Guided away by the backhand of Dobson. Now Gauthier using the legs. Gauthier with a path to the net, and he scores!
Look at the goalie.
Julian Gauthier all by himself, flying down the left wing.
It's just about the speed. Puck goes in front, and then Gauthier has it, and he gets his feet moving. Talk about it all the time. Don't think, get your feet moving. I need to.
My God, Butchie. I have a hard time listening to Butch these days.
Slams this one by the goaltender, and this is just opens it right up. No real problem there with the goalie. I mean, that's just a good shot right up high over the shoulder, right side, short side.
Short side. You can be beat short side. You can't get
Ingram
beat short side.
really hasn't had much of an opportunity, but we wondered whether the Islanders would respond, Brendan.
My God. You know what? Fucking, I tell you what. The Lamb will be in full swing. It's like the locusts. It's Sun X F Bo Nix. He sucks, says Johnny Mac.
Wow.
You know what it's like
Johnny
right
Mac
now?
knows.
We're about to have.
Go beat the Coyotes. Grumpy old man. I probably did say that yesterday. I was pissed.
There you go.
Bo Horvat scored again.
Oh wow. Woohoo, poor man. Hey guys, we're beating the Coyotes. Woohoo. I'm like, the expectation is we beat the Coyotes. When's the last time the Arizona Coyotes made the postseason? Was it like a decade ago?
12, never.
No, they've made the playoffs before, haven't they?
Yeah, like a long time ago. It's been a while. At least 6-7 years, I think.
I think it was more than that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they made the postseason since Shane Doan was a member of that team.
I don't know, maybe.
I'll tell you real quick if you give me a second here. The last time the Arizona Coyotes made the postseason was in 2018. Oh, no, the COVID year doesn't count. The COVID bubble doesn't count. They were 5th out of
Texas Suck says, boys, what do we think about Buffon wanting the goal to be bigger? I mean, he's retired, isn't he? It
Yes.
seems like
that's probably why he wants to keep the clean sheet records.
It seems like when he played against Real Madrid, that goal couldn't be small enough for him. I mean, it seemed like it was when he was giving. I mean, that goal seemed like it was 3 times the size of the way he was giving up.
He wanted to play on one of the. He wanted the goal to be the size of those training nets.
That's right.
My gosh, the last time they made the postseason was over a decade ago. The last time the Coyotes made the postseason was back in 2011, 2012, a decade ago.
Texas Success need a one shining moment for college football. Michael Penix. That's it.
Oh my fuck.
Derek Monroe heard from again. I had more respect for Bo Nix until I saw him completing multiple wide receiver jet sweep passes in the Liberty game in order to break Mac Jones' completion percentage record.
Trash. Told you all along. He sucks.
I don't think that Bo Nix is making the play calls. That's the offensive coordinator.
He also played for like a million years too.
Can we talk about the physicality? Are they making a conscious decision where you're kind of allowed to hit?
They don't want the open ice stuff, but I hope in this pro league they allow it to fly a little bit more because I think these girls want to play with the contact.
It was flying yesterday, dude.
Yeah. They want to play with that type of physicality.
The place was packed too. It looked awesome.
I thought the other cool element too is the rules that they've implemented, and maybe as part of a tester to maybe change them in the NHL. If you're shorthanded and you score a shorthanded goal, your team member comes out of the penalty box. So you're rewarded for getting that shorthanded goal. What was another one that they've implemented?
3 points for a win.
A regulation win, you get 3 points.
I think that the NHL really needs to do something about the loser point. It makes it impossible. Like we're talking about Detroit trying to get back in the mix. Like it is so hard with all these teams getting 2 and 1 points, with all these games going OT to leapfrog and make some jump. If you're winning regulation games, start giving teams 3 points. I love that rule.
I agree with that.
Get rid of overtime.
I don't say get rid. I mean, you go back to
overtime. Goodbye overtime.
Make it shootout.
No. If you end in a draw, that's it. You draw. Tough shit. If you want to sit back and play turtle shell hockey, you don't get credit for a win.
I like the 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. I absolutely like that.
Like how it is in soccer.
Yes, absolutely like that. I had to admit
it rewards you more for winning as opposed to getting
absolutely. Absolutely. What do you guys think of the Yankees getting Snell? I didn't know they got him. I know they were looking at him. I don't think he's going to be a success in New York. I think New York's going to eat him alive. He's a little quirky. Those guys don't tend to do well.
And injured a lot too.
Yeah, but he's a little. You have to have a certain mental makeup to play in New York. I hope that he has that ability. I don't think he does.
I want to show this here. By the by, and don't look at this as I'm trying to go ahead and jam it in your. I had forgot everything that had to go right to win this game against Oklahoma.
God, I remember
this.
The fucking Statue of Liberty play.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not the set. This was 17 years ago, by the way. 17 years ago.
Bransky's legs might be critical here to save time on throwing the ball. Down the middle, James, the lateral.
Oh, that's right. It was the lateral play.
Can you
I think they lost to Boise State on a Statue of Liberty play too.
I don't hear any of that bullshit in the background. So I was like, I forgot. That's right. That you didn't see that often until that happened. That was like an innovative play.
Not true. Not true. Not true.
You didn't see much of that besides that in the Texas Miracle, Grump. The Tennessee Miracle.
Okay, I remember the Miami Dolphins doing that against the San Diego Chargers and the AFC playoff game.
What year?
Same thing.
That's the Statue of Liberty play that beat them.
It was an overtime.
That was a good game. Even though I'm Oklahoma fan, Oklahoma lost. That was a good game.
Look at that. I was like, my God. I forgot that in order for them even to get to the Statue of Liberty game, the Statue of Liberty play, they had to launch that freaking trick play to score a touchdown. I was like, holy shit. I've forgotten that in 17 years.
What's the one thing that shitty teams all have? A boatload of freaking trick plays. A boatload. Derek Monroe says biggest Pro Bowl snubs. I'll start. Brandon Ayuk. Well, I don't know who made the Pro Bowl, so I can't comment on it.
Jamar Chase made it as one of the wide receivers.
Jamar Chase is better than Brandon Ayuk.
He did not have
he had more yards. He had more yards than Brandon.
No, he didn't. He had 1,100 yards. Brandon Ayuk had 1,300 yards. They both had the same amount of touchdowns this year. Debo Samuel got fucked. He should have made it in.
He only played a handful of games, X. Come on.
Debo Samuel had 15 combined touchdowns for rushing and receiving touchdowns this year.
Jamar Chase had
combined his rushing and his receiving yards. He had over 1,000 yards.
Okay. He had 1,200 receiving yards. Jamar Chase did. Okay.
And Brandon Ayuk had 1,300. And they both had 7 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns this year.
Oh my gosh!
So if you look at the statistics, Brandon Ayuk had a better season than Jamar Chase had.
By the way, TJ, Lamar Jackson, MVP.
He's the front runner now.
He's absolutely winning MVP. Absolutely.
Probably. You're right.
No, not probably. Absolutely. At least you're not running him down like you even did last week, saying he was a shitty quarterback. He's been tremendous this year, and he's learned how to play the position. He's learned how to play the position.
So TJ, please tell me again that you think Jamar Chase should have made the Pro Bowl.
He should have made the Pro Bowl. He's a much better wide receiver.
Honestly, it's an absolute joke of an award. It's voted on by the fans. It's literally a fan vote. It's a popularity contest.
Fan vote. Popularity.
That's all it is.
Now, Grumpy, there's one thing that you wanted to do to talk about Bill Belichick.
We don't have time to talk about that.
I'm pretty sure Mike Evans didn't even make the Pro Bowl.
He didn't deserve it.
He's the most receiving touchdowns this year at any wide receiver.
Sammy the stat stuffer.
That kind of reminds me of Brandon Ayuk. Mike Evans, stats wise, Grumpy has 1,233 receiving yards and 13 caught touchdowns.
Whoop-de-doo.
First ballot Hall of Famer Mike Evans.
No, he won't be first ballot. Now here's the thing. Great guy. I always say that. Just a model NFL player, does tremendous work in the community. I just think he's soft as shit and he's a stat stuffer. That's what he is.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. I 100% looked up the 2023 Pro Bowl players. That is on me.
Sorry, X.
I looked it up from last year, which Jamar Chase should have made it in last year.
Of course.
Here we go. I got the AFC Pro Bowl roster here. You got Tua, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Raheem Mostert, James Cook, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase. Oh, they're the NFC. Tight end, Travis Kelce, David Njoku, fullback, Alec Ingold, tackles, Laramie Tunsil.
I honestly can't even believe they even include fullback in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, they include every. We'll just do offensive players. And then for NFC, you got Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, Kyron Williams, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Puka Nacua made it in there. George Kittle, Sam Laporta. Fullback is Jaskowski. He's the guy for the 49ers. I don't know.
Juice check,
whatever. I know how to pronounce his
I
name.
don't care anymore. I'm done. I'm done hearing the names. I
Doesn't
think
care anymore.
I was about to say I like for them. I'm like I think you're right. Well, no, it's just speaking to X's point. The Pro Bowl is a fucking joke.
It is.
That's what it is. I like Jamar Chase. I think he's a better wide receiver than Brandon Ayuk. I like Brandon Ayuk though too, but it's a joke. It's not based off of merit. Hey, if you play somewhat good, got a good story, and people like you get to the right spot. That's simple. You don't want to talk, Grumpy, about Belichick?
We'll talk about it Sunday.
Hooray! We're talking about it Sunday.
Big news came out. It's more than a 5-minute thing. It just is.
Well, Grumpy, I have a whole bunch of videos.
What,
Grumpy? This is one that I think people will like. They talk about the Jets too, Grumpy. A lot of listeners to the show are Jets fans, Grump. Do you recognize this face, Grumpy?
Oh my God, who is that? I don't know who that is.
LeGarrette Blount.
Wow. Okay. Hasn't aged well.
And rumors continue to swirl about the future of Bill Belichick with the Pats. How much will a win over the Jets affect the chances of him keeping his job for the next season? How big is this?
Zero.
I mean, how significant would a win versus the Jets be? You know, I mean, I'm not shade or anything, but I mean, that'd be different if you're playing like a Chiefs team or like a Dolphins or a Buffalo Bills or something like that. But you're playing against the Jets, you know, and that's not a game that you're going to consider important enough for you to keep or lose your job, especially for Bill. I don't think that this affects the outcome of what, you know, his future holds moving forward. I don't think, you know, win or lose this game, I don't think this makes or breaks the decision that they make, whether to keep him or not. I'm still leaning towards the fact that they will keep him. And I don't think that they will make the decision based off him beating the freaking Jets.
You talk about throwing some shade at the Jets, my God.
Bill Belichick's going to be fired. Yep. There's no way. A story came out in the Boston Herald today where that whole team, that coaching, everything is dysfunctional there. Fights among coaches. Belichick. Oh, go ahead. This is it right here. Play it. This is from tonight.
To me, is that the decision last offseason, 2 off seasons ago, to make Matt Patricia the de facto offensive coordinator and put Joe Judge in a key role offensively has, in fact, derailed Bill Belichick's tenure here. I think a lot of us looked at it at the time and said, well, just because it was a loss, it doesn't make that fireable. It doesn't. But it led to a domino effect that has, in my opinion, culminated in the offense looking in the way it's looked right now. Because I do believe Robert Kraft made it very clear to everyone that they were going to hire a real offensive coordinator last offseason. I believe Bill Belichick wanted Bill O'Brien. Understanding that those were the parameters, I believe Bill Belichick wanted Bill O'Brien, knowing that he had to hire a new offensive coordinator. But it was, now looking back, it looks like a half measure. Because if he's not allowed to bring in his full staff, as it's laid out in the story there, then how much success are you truly expecting? Now, that said, I do think Bill O'Brien was okay with the staff the way it was set up when he got here. So it's easy to look back in retrospect and say, well, he doesn't have his guys. But I wonder how Bill O'Brien, if we had talked to him in real time, in the moment, how he would have reacted to the staff, because I think he was okay with it. That's my belief.
Do you?
So, Grumpy, you're talking, and you wanted to mention, I'm sure, about the Bill O'Brien was not able to bring in any of his staff, apparently.
One guy, one coach. Only one coach was he allowed to bring in.
And that was the offensive line coach or something, I believe?
Nope, that was not the offensive line coach. That was a tight ends coach. The offensive line coach was Adrian Clem. He was interviewed for the offensive coordinator job that he was never going to get. It was Belichick only wanted O'Brien. It was it's believed that Robert Kraft told Belichick it's going to be O'Brien. But Belichick, being, you know, he just is what he is, told him he couldn't bring his whole staff, only one guy. So Adrian Clem had a shouting match with the director of player personnel this year because he says, we need offensive linemen. And they had a shouting match in the hall in front of players. Then Adrian Clem goes out on medical leave, and he's been out the whole rest of the year on medical leave.
He had a really bad flare-up of medical issue, Grumpy, is what happened.
And you have players like Trent Brown with 4 games left to go. He says, I'm going to be playing for a team in the NFC next year. I'm not going to be here.
Yes.
And you have other players on defense saying that Gerard Mayo is the reason why we're playing hard. I mean, it was a burial of Bill Belichick. Absolute burial of Bill Belichick. He's gone. He's absolutely gone. And there were some people saying, well, maybe he'll give up, his GM duties because he is GM. That's why the team has no talent. It's like Lou Lamoriello. You get to be a certain age, you just can't do that anymore. And again, I hate to say it, look at the record with Brady. Look at the record without Brady. It's a stark difference. I mean, stark difference. I think he's going to be fired Monday. Tuesday, the latest, he'll be gone. And I think Robert Kraft could be persuaded to, maybe to keep him. But Jonathan Kraft absolutely wants him gone. I think Bill Belichick is gone. I think and honestly, he has to go. Look at the record the last number of years. I mean, you're 4-12. How do you keep your job? Last year, they were 7-10, 8-9, 10-7 one year. I mean, those are fireable offenses because your team sucks.
Yep.
And you heard that guys on the offense were so upset. The first 3 picks in their draft this year were defensive. I mean, they were a bad offensive team last year. The first 3 picks were defensive players this year. No offensive linemen until the 6th round. They had and the biggest need on the team was offensive tackle. I mean, Belichick signs Riley Reif. Riley Reif uses the same agent that Bill Belichick has. Riley Reif's been finished for years. That's going to be your starting right tackle. Never even want to play, and he got hurt. They're a bad team. They're the worst team in the league offensively. The worst team in the league offensively.
Worse than the Panthers.
The worst team in the league offensively.
Okay.
Damn. Belichick to the Chargers.
No way. He's going to go to an NFC South team, either Tampa or Carolina. I think Tepper's going to screw up and hire him and put him in charge of them, and that'll just sink them even worse.
Then Tepper will be throwing gallons of drinks as opposed to just cups.
He can't. The problem with Belichick is he's going to be 72 years old, can't do the job anymore. He said years ago he would rather coach players that he likes as opposed to, guys who could be problem players. I'm sorry. I just think he just can't connect with the modern NFL player anymore. Just can't do it.
Let's listen to the rest of this here real quick.
We look, obviously the offense was the biggest problem the last couple of years with this team. Is that, because especially this year, is that Bill Belichick? Is he the main reason, or is Bill O'Brien at fault for some of what happened with the offense?
No, I mean, the buck stops with Bill. I mean, the bottom line, look.
Bill Belichick.
But Bill Belichick, yeah. I mean, this is the inability to develop a successor for Josh McDaniels, right? And then the unwillingness to go outside to find one when there were some options out there for you, and then to do something completely off the board. And I think that problem spills over now into this year, where now you've got to completely blow up the offensive staff, and you bring in some different guys, and you have weak links here, and you have guys involved in a shotgun marriage where everybody's fighting for their job, and you've got a quarterback who's got a crisis of confidence. There's so much that went into this it's beyond Bill O'Brien. And it's because Bill Belichick created all these holes, both in the roster.
It goes back to decisions made well before Bill O'Brien got here. It's my understanding that when Bill Belichick was trying to figure out who was going to replace Josh McDaniels, he was openly telling people, hey, this is Mac Jones' second season. It's really important that we get this right. Mm-hmm. It's really important that we get the right person with some experience coordinating the offense. And they actually had an option there. People forget. Nick Caley worked under Josh McDaniels for a long time. He's a tight ends coach now in L.A. Key part of what they're doing there. Instead, in a critical second season, they go with Matt Patricia.
Defensive coach.
Yep. Yeah. So
honestly, that's why he's got to go. And here's the thing, they're saying, well, maybe he gives up GM duties. Do you think he's going to listen to some general manager?
No.
Absolutely not. Let's say they draft Marvin Harrison, right? If they pick third or something like that, a wide receiver. Would you put it past Belichick to say, oh, I'm not going to put him on the field. He can't block well enough yet, so we're going to sit him on the bench half the year, like he did with Gronk back in the day. I was like, come on.
Don't shock me.
Yeah. Goon, I mean, he's gone. He's gone. And he has to go. He has to go. Goon says, Greasy Geezers, do you feel better after the Islanders' convincing win tonight, or are you still tap dancing on eggshells? Arizona's a shitty team. I expect them they should beat Arizona. Arizona's a shitty team. And Goon says, I asked the other night if the Islanders beat the Coyotes and get a loser point versus the Knights. It's a successful trip. Grumpy guffawed. Now that they've taken care of the first part, shall we revisit? No, because we're going to lose to Vegas. We'll probably get beat 7-0, something like that.
Here's the thing. Arizona has not had a winning season. They haven't had a season where they've been a top 16 team in the NHL in over a decade. Hey, are we happy about the 5-1 victory? And like Phil is blowing up my phone. He's called me twice. Grump. He's called me twice already. Phil Sack has called me twice. Oh my God. It's bad. Oh no. Helen Yeller, Grumpy. He says, Ryan.
What's up, guys? It's Helen. Changed my name. Ryan Richards.
What's up, Ryan? How are you? And I guess that's it. We're at the end of the show here today, guys. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap things up here, Grumpy?
We have one more here.
Win Saturday? No. We have some NFL teams playing for playoff positions on Saturday and Sunday. Texans against Indianapolis.
Yep.
Sunday night game is Dolphins Bills. That's going to be who you're either second or fifth in the playoff picture, or even sixth. I know that probably Kansas City is hoping that Buffalo beats Miami because they don't want to play Buffalo in the first. They don't want to play Buffalo, period. But they'd rather wait to play Buffalo. I think Miami's done, just like every year they're done.
Good gracious here. Well, guys, before we wrap things up here, what do you want to say, Grumpy? What do you want to say, Sunex, before we wrap things up here today?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the Grumpy Old Man, and Sunex.
And Sunex, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
Oh, we just have one more comment here. It says, TJ, is the right time to tell Sunex about Grumpy's AI/AL flub the other night. Also, was that his DB Cooper moment?
No, absolutely not. Because that could be a lowercase L. It absolutely could.
To answer your question, I think X was on. I think it was on the show. I think X was here when he called it Al. So I think X witnessed it first.
But it was just like in a string of letters. I mean, that could be Al. It absolutely could. It's a lowercase L. Division winner picks for this weekend. Go ahead, guys. Do we need to look at it? Do we need to look at the roster? Look at the lineup. Let's do that. It'll be fun. I'll do it. What the hell, right?
I was about to say. Okay, Crump.
AFC. For some reason, I just think Miami's going to win down in Miami, even though they're banged up. So I'll go Miami, but that doesn't mean anything. Ravens, of course, going to win the NFC.
Okay. I'll pop it up here. If you want to, Crump, or do you just want to answer all the questions?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm disagreeing. I think Bills beat out the Dolphins. Go ahead, okay. X. What do you think, sir?
Man, the Dolphins have given up a shitload of points this year, haven't they?
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to beat. I think the Bills will beat the Dolphins. I think there's a lot of shit going on with the Dolphins right now. But I will say Tua is, from what I heard, Tua is on his this is like his contract performance. So this will determine whether he gets the contract options.
They should cut him loose. He sucks.
I think the Chiefs are absolutely going to win the West.
They've already won the West.
They've already won
that. Yeah.
The Ravens have already won as well. It's between the Jags and the Colts. Or Jags, Colts, and Texans. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yep. I'm going to say the Texans.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, who did the Texans have this week?
I'm saying Trevor. I'm saying Trevor. The Jags.
Now, Trevor Lawrence Is
He's
he
limited.
playing this week?
Yes, he remains limited. Is what they say apparently. He's
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk were back at practice, but he's limited. So,
And who are they playing?
let me see here for you, Grump.
Titans. Okay, I think Jacksonville will win, and man, that other game's going to be close. That's a Saturday night game. Gosh, I want to say the Texans are going to upset the Colts, and the Texans go to the playoffs.
That's what I think.
Okay. So the Texans have the tiebreaker?
If they beat the Colts, they'll be 10-7.
Well, so will the Jags if they win.
Well, the Jags are in first place right now. They win. That's that.
Okay. I think Jags are making it in. The Jags. The Cowboys or the Eagles?
Oof. Cowboys win division for me.
I didn't know Cowboys were undefeated at home.
Well,
who are
I
the
think
Eagles?
Cowboys as well.
Eagles are playing the Giants. Okay.
Eagles are going to win that game.
I'm hoping the Giants lose. That'll be good. We need a better draft selection.
And who are the
Wait, aren't the Cowboys?
They play the Commanders.
Commanders. They should win that game. They beat the crap out of the Commanders earlier this year.
It is a road game, though.
They'll beat them.
Yeah.
Okay, they're
Sam
only
Howell's
3.
back
Think about it.
at
They're
the
3
Eagles.
real quick. They're 3-5 on the road.
The Commanders are 4-12. They're 4-12.
They're beating the Commanders.
Yes.
They're
Next.
1-6 at home. The mighty Sam.
They've lost 7 in a row. They've lost
NFC
7
West.
games. They're done.
It's the 49ers.
The 49ers have already won.
Yeah.
Lions have already clinched.
already
And now
won.
the NFC South.
Wait a minute.
The Saints for the Bucks.
The Bucks will win. They'll beat Carolina this week.
Bake Nation, baby.
They've got the Saints have the Falcons.
Doesn't matter. Bucks are going to beat Carolina.
Yep.
They clinch division with the win.
Baker's going to throw for another 600 yards in a game.
And
really,
do you think the Rams are going to make the playoffs, or do you think that it's going to be the Seahawks?
The Rams have been hot recently. They've been playing really freaking well.
Rams have already clinched, my friend.
Oh, okay. Rams are clinched. Well, there you go. There you go.
So really, they're talking about a wild card spot, the super wild card weekend. It's like between the Packers, I think the Packers and the Seahawks.
Seahawks, and the Saints, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be the Saints. It won't be the Saints.
I think the Seahawks. Oh, who are the Seahawks playing? That's the real question. Oh, they're playing Arizona. Yeah, Seahawks will make it in.
You realize the strength of victory for the Saints is like 328. Forget that.
The Saints are making it in.
No, they're not. No,
yes, they are. Why do you think the Saints aren't? The Saints could win the division outright, Grumpy.
They're not going to win division outright. Tampa Bay's going to beat Carolina, and that's that. Yep.
Row Panthers are going to go ahead and beat the Buccaneers because they've got that miserable quarterback. Big Nation.
I don't think so.
I think
Big Nation, baby.
I don't think so.
Ryan Richards, Grump.
I hope you guys have a great new year. I'm always listening to you guys. Appreciate all you guys do. Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy
there.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Armistice Day. Derek Morel says, appreciate the extra time you all put in tonight. Longer podcast than usual. All viewers should be pleased.
Thanks, Derek.
And then here's some funny ones right here.
Milo Brown said, do we know we'll be playing the Super Bowl halftime show yet? I do not know. It's not going to be Peter Frampton. That much I can tell you. Hey, Gungoon. Another reason to not watch, says Milo.
That's a good one.
Who hates football.
Yep. That's good.
The halftime show is Usher.
Oh, Usher. Okay.
Usher's got some good songs.
She sucks.
Doesn't he show you how to
some
get
serpent neck songs?
Oh my gosh.
the serpent's neck.
I like Usher. He's got a few good songs.
Okay.
Are there any comments there? X?
Nope, that's it. That's it.
All right.
So Grumpy said his bit. We'll see you guys X time.
All righty. There it is. We'll see you guys X time. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be with you guys live Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, Son X. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you guys Sunday evening at 8.